Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig, and this, of course, is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. And, of course, as always, we have a ton of stuff to talk about, a lot to cover. A lot has happened since we last talked. And, of course, the calls are always welcome live on the program. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. You know, a major news drop has come out on the latest narco-terrorist drug boat, the one with the two shots that they're causing a big stink about. And I'm going to get to that and play you the story from a very liberal source, by the way, so that Democrats who are tuning in can't discredit the information because of the source. Okay, so this is great stuff. But you know, there's a theme going on here, and with the Trump second term in the last, I don't know, couple of weeks, because you know it was 2 weeks ago that they went out and assassinated a National Guardsman and shot another in Washington, D.C., right? It's been over a week. And if you've noticed, we're 8 days since that's happened, and the story has disappeared from the news, which is really a shame. It really, truly is. And the reason it's disappeared from the news is because it doesn't fit their agenda. That shooting has so much to do with what's going on with the narco-terrorist and the war down there with Venezuela and the cartels, and, of course, what's going on in Minnesota with all this thievery that's going on with the Somalians. We're going to get into all of that. But, you know, what President Trump has said is he said enough of this, right? He said enough of this, and he's not going to put up with it anymore. And he's had enough of a lot of things. And, you know, all this corruption, whether it's with the southern border, the drug cartels, Somalians in Minnesota with $1 billion in theft of taxpayer money. You know, the reason these things have been allowed to continue for so long is because the left have been very successful in the past of making Americans feel guilty about being Americans. They've convinced a couple generations of Americans that all the problems in the world are the responsibility of the United States. It's really a sad thing that they've done that. And that all of these things, whether it's the stolen money by the Somalians, the cartels, the illegals that are over here invading this country, doing all kinds of terrible things, murder, rape, all kinds of other crimes, taking American jobs, sucking off the government, that these are all debts that are owed to these groups by the American people, which is nonsense. None of that is, not only is none of that true today, none of it was ever true. The United States is the oldest democracy in the world. I don't care what Ken Burns says in his hack documentary on PBS. I can't even get through the first few minutes of part one of because it's so insulting against everything American. He's now no longer Ken Burns, the documentary filmmaker, is no longer a historian. He's writing new history, right, from this liberal perspective to further left-wing agendas. He's a propagandist now. Lenny Riefenstahl type documentary filmmaker now, Ken Burns. Maybe he always was. I liked some of the documentaries I saw of his in the past were pretty good, but this one is just disgusting. But what President Trump has said is enough of this. The United States is not guilty of any of these things. We don't owe anyone outside of this country anything. And if you come to this country and you come over here and you get here through fraud, if you get here through and then become a criminal, you're out. That's it. If you're trying to bring poison drugs into the country, enough. You know, and another thing that they've done a lot of is, by the way, welcome those of you who are new. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new. And if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Those of you on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls in a bit. I've got some things I want to cover. The number is toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. So, as an example, this cleaning up of crime in the blue cities, which is amazing, right? We have, according to the FBI director, Kash Patel, nationwide, the lowest national murder rate in decades in this country right now. That's all because of Trump cleaning up these blue cities, Memphis, D.C. They've been doing massive arrests with federal agents without National Guard in Chicago, in spite of the governor and the mayor there, and some of the other blue cities on the West Coast. And the left, one of the reasons that they don't want crime taken care of and ended in these blue cities is because a lot of it is minority crime, because these are majority minority cities. And every time, this is the liberal mindset, every time a black criminal is arrested and sent to jail, no matter how horrendous his crimes are, they think you're putting him in slavery or something, that they're like almost owed a debt by this country to be allowed to go out there and commit mayhem and crime and victimize people. It's a very bizarre thing. And people are tired of this. President Trump is tired of this. Jasmine Crockett out there playing the race card. People are tired of the race card. The country is fatigued over this guilt that they throw on this country, none of which we owe any debt for or should feel guilty about, whether it's towards any minority group or the illegals. We owe no debt to them. We should have no guilt. They're the ones who should be guilty, these illegals, for doing the things that they're doing. And President Trump has said enough of this, and he stood up to it. And the left have been getting away with so much with this guilt trip. Even with these standards with the automobiles, the emission standards that President Trump was talking about yesterday. They're using the climate change to get all these bizarre emission standards that are impossible to achieve with automobiles. And what they've done is not only drive up the cost of automobiles. Do you know how many people are dead in this country because of these environmental standards the Democrats forced on the automakers? You know why that is? Because what they've done to meet these standards is lessen the weight of the vehicles, and they lessen the weight of the vehicles by making them out of plastic as opposed to steel. The vehicles I have an old car that's a Kia Sorento. My new car, my wife and I have, is a Mini Cooper, and I also have a Vespa that I got a couple years ago. All of these cars are made with steel. My Vespa, as an example, Vespas are a lot more money compared to other motor scooters. The other motor scooters are made out of plastic. The Vespa is all metal, which makes it safer and a better ride. My Mini Cooper, about 20 years ago, my wife and I had a Mini Cooper when they first had their comeback here in this country. A girl drove into me going about 75 miles an hour. I was sitting still on I-95 in a traffic jam. She hit the driver's door. The car was totaled, but I survived. The inside, the airbags deployed, but other than the airbags deploying, the car looked like when I took it off the showroom floor, because it's made with steel and has reinforced doors, and I pay more money for that. But the other cars out there, so many of the other cars, my Kia also reinforced, so many other cars are made with plastic. They're getting people killed, these liberals, but while they're virtue signaling with their climate change guilt. What the Democrats do, they do a lot of things. They divide people on all these lines and everything. White against black, gay against Christian, all this stuff. We go through a long list. There's endless combinations of the divisions, but they also have this guilt trip, and people are tired of it. The fatigue. There's all kinds of different things people are fatigued of. We owe no debt to African Americans for slavery in this country. 1 million Americans died in the Civil War, the war to free the slaves, and that's what that war was about. The Republican Party is the party of Lincoln that was formed as an abolitionist party to do just that, free the slaves, and the Republicans did it. 1 million Americans died in the Civil War to free the slaves. Enough. We don't owe any debt to that. That debt was paid by our ancestors. We don't owe any debt to these illegals from Latin America and the United States and North America, right? I know Mexico is part of North America, but give me a break, right? The United States and Canada are the two major North American countries. Central and South America, and I'll throw Mexico into that, even though geographically it's not correct, but they have the same land and resources that the United States and Canada have. Why are we first world and they're third world pits of hell? Well, it's like the Somalians in Minnesota. It's the culture. These are uncivilized people that come from a culture of corruption, and that's all they know. And President Trump has said enough is enough of this. Now, one of the biggest things he's doing is right now, immediately, is this literal war on drugs, taking out these drug boats. Now, there's a major update on this latest boat with the narco terrorist, where they took 2 shots and they're trying to say this is a war crime and the admiral should be prosecuted. The pilots who fired the rockets, the missiles should be prosecuted. Haig says should be prosecuted. Geneva, war crimes. Disgusting people they are. Got some new information I'm going to share with you right now from a liberal news source, Martha Raddatz at ABC News. Listen to this. This just dropped yesterday.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the 2 survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. Now, Martha Raddatz there, she is a hardcore leftist lunatic. When Trump beat Hillary Clinton, she was covering it with the ABC News panel on election night. She was in tears on ABC. Remember that? And even she's saying that. Exactly. They're acting like it was, Rose and Jack Dawson on a little piece of wood hanging on to life while the Titanic sunk. But actually, the first shot didn't take the boat out. They were getting the drugs back together. They were calling in reinforcements. And, these cartels have military-grade reinforcements. So, no, the second shot was justified. But, don't let that fact get in the way. But the fact that this came from ABC News' very strange anchor, David Muir, and Hillary Clinton lover, Martha Raddatz, is something that is absolutely spectacular. Now, I want to remind you guys that this early show, the pre-show to the radio show I do every day, is brought to you by the great Mike Lindell at MyPillow, who you may have heard, he got all the information together. He's going to run for governor against Waltz, maybe up in Minnesota. There's huge sales going on right now. Mike Lindell has been sponsoring this early show. If we have a good showing of sales this month, during the month of December, with my promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com, it'll become a permanent thing, and I'll be able to continue this early show, and it'll be sponsored all year long next year in 2026 by the great Mike Lindell and MyPillow. So please go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, and do your Christmas shopping. We'll be right back. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code Kane to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. On the line, we have Joe Thomas, who we talk to quite often about annuities. And we talk a lot about the great benefits of annuities. Your money is never at risk no matter what happens in the stock market. You're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. But Joe Thomas, there's also, this time of the year, tax season, there's great tax benefits to annuities as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what we're doing for clients right now before the end of the year is setting them up with an IRA annuity. A lot of people don't know that you can set up a Roth IRA and a regular traditional IRA with an annuity. Not only can you write off up to $8,000 if you're over age 50, but then you can make another contribution next year, which is going to be $8,600. And not only do you put the money away, but you get a bonus on it of 11%. So that's what we're doing for a lot of our clients. And putting your money away safely and guaranteed is a very big deal right now, Brian.
Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation, 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right, we're back. My name's Brian. Our number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. This is where MAGA comes to talk. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, there you go. There you go. First one of the day. If the rest of you want to hold stand by. By the way, I'd forgotten to connect the phone, so I got to fix that before I take any more calls, okay, guys? So this whole narrative, if you're just tuning in, is falling apart on them big time with the drug cartel boat. Here's the president in the Oval Office press conference yesterday being asked about it.
It's found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat. Should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
Yeah, isn't that something? We're going to see it very soon on land. So there's going to be some type of land operation against the cartels. You know, who could be against that, right? This is one of these things I've been talking about a lot lately that are universally good that President Trump is doing. I mean, how many of you have known someone, a friend, a family, a coworker, or heard of someone? Everyone's heard of Hunter Biden, so everybody knows who he is. So everybody knows someone who's got a serious drug addiction. Look, you know, and you know what it does. It has killed the drug cartels have killed more people, more American people, than any other enemy this country has ever had. Not only that, more Americans have been killed by the drug cartels than have been killed by all of America's enemies combined in all of our previous wars. And I'll throw in 9/11 on that, right? I mean, how many people die every year because of the drug cartels? Who would be against this? How could you be against it? And this guilt trip that they're trying to run. Oh, these poor Somalians. You know, President Trump said yesterday, he said Somalia, he said it's not even a country. He said it's not even a nation. It's just a bunch of people walking around killing one another. That's absolutely right. You know, there's always been restrictions and limits on immigration since there's been immigration in this country, right? You had to go through Ellis Island, and they had all kinds of standards and quotas. Different than now, but quotas indeed and such. So restricting immigration into the country is not new. It's the way it's always been, right? Even during colonial periods, you just couldn't come over here. You had to get permission from the government of the European country that was doing the settlement, right? There's all kinds of things that went on. So there's never been what you would call truly free and open immigration. And the reason that is because you don't want to be overwhelmed by undesirables, right? You know, we all know the stories of Australia being founded as a penal colony. They got their criminals away. Well, that's what they've been turning the United States into, a penal colony, right? All the criminals from all over the world. And what's going on in Somalia, Minnesota, with the Somalians, might as well call it Somalia. What's going on in Minnesota with the corruption with the Somalians, they don't even understand that what they're doing is criminal or corrupt, because the place they come from, the country they come from, that's just how you make a living, right? And throwing out the race card or xenophobe, racist, whatever they throw, people are tired of that because we know it is not true, and they like to quote, "Oh, give us your tired, give us your poor." Well, that may be on the Statue of Liberty, but first of all, the Statue of Liberty, which was a gift from another country, France, is not the Constitution of the United States. We don't go around on statues and look at what was etched on them, and that's policy. And it doesn't say, give us your rapists and your financial criminals and your drug traffickers and gangbangers, does it? If it does, please point that out where it says that on the Statue of Liberty, because that's what's going on here. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This
Hey,
is
Richie. Hey, Richie.
You're a history guy. Years ago, let me tell the people, the cocaine and the poppy and all that used to come from Asia, okay, and it was shipped to South America. We had a major influence in South America for years, but then you started getting these drug cartel governments, and that's what they were, Colombia and Brazil and a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they started with this Yankee imperialism.
That's right.
They intimidated the.
That's all that Che Guevara crap.
Yeah, they intimidated us to basically take our eyes and ears off of South America, and the drug cartels took over these countries, and we were afraid to do anything about it because we were called, Yankee imperialists.
Yeah.
And then Cuba come along, and Cuba's got a major influence on all of South America with all this crap.
Exactly.
The communism.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to this country. President Trump is the first president that's actually said, I don't care about your Yankee imperialism or anything else. Who would have thought that in major cities, on major streets, in major towns, you'd have marijuana stores in this country? You think that's good for the American people?
Exactly.
Do you think I don't think a bar in every corner in the United States is good for people in this country. It doesn't help. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah, we got lucky here in Florida. Legalized recreational marijuana was on the ballot. It was defeated, and I was in shock at that because the hippie generation of the 60s and 70s are senior citizens, and we have so many senior citizens in Florida. I thought all these old hippie pot-smoking Summer of Love senior citizens would have voted to legalize it, and thankfully they didn't.
Let me tell you, I'll be honest, I never smoked marijuana. I never even took a puff of it because I never smoked a cigarette. But I remember being in Vietnam, and let me tell you, in the middle of the night, the whole camp smelled from a marijuana pit. And guys would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and they would smoke a joint before they actually went, and a joint before they went to sleep. It was just ridiculous. And I used to watch how it used to affect guys in the. It was terrible, man. I mean, they're walking around.
Well, listen, marijuana is the least of it. I mean, with these drugs they're bringing in from the cartels. Let me answer these lines. It's gotten to a level, Richie, where too many people are dying.
Yeah, but here's the deal, and now we're going to get to the nitty-gritty.
And we've got to stand up and do something about it. And the drug cartel, the fentanyl in particular, but probably the cocaine too for the supplies to make it. But the fentanyl is an attack on this country by China. They're making it and then shipping it to South America. And there's a thing called the Monroe Doctrine that President Monroe put in place. And what the Monroe Doctrine says is that it's U.S. and it's still in effect, that the United States will not allow any foreign influence in the Western Hemisphere, and South America and North America are both in Western Hemisphere. Okay.
Well, that's what happened with the Cuban Missile Crisis.
That's right.
John Kennedy said, "This is the Monroe Doctrine. Get your missiles out of Cuba." And
That's
that
right.
almost caused a major.
Yeah,
So
and, and wait, hold on, Richie. Don't worry, I'm here till 9. I got a long time to go. I'm glad you mentioned the Cuban Missile Crisis because that's considered the greatest moment of Kennedy's presidency. How many movies have they made about that?
Yeah.
Right. What President Trump is doing is a Cuban Missile Crisis like moment. He's taking on China, and he's taking on the cartels, and he's taking on Latin America.
He's enforcing the Monroe Doctrine,
That's
which John
right.
Kennedy did also. But the thing is not just this. My understanding is that almost every day, if you take a look at the news cycle for the last month, they come at Trump with everything, and this is going to continue through the election. They're trying to make him they're trying to throw every lie and mud at him. They knew this was a lie from the very beginning. They made a big issue out of this. This Washington Post or whatever, the Washington paper, they falsified it. You put a lie down on paper, and then the media runs with it. This is going to go on and on and on. This will be over in a week, and it'll be on something else. They hate Trump.
It's going to be the reason
us.
it's going to be over is because it's falling apart. When Martha Raddatz on ABC News with David Muir is putting the record straight that this was a good shoot, even the second shot, it's over. So this will fade. Laura Loomer's doing a lot of reporting. There's a coup going on inside the Pentagon. They're trying to make the Army Secretary Driscoll they've got it in their mind they can make him the War Department Secretary. They're trying to get Trump to get rid of Pete Hegseth. Trump isn't going to get rid of anyone in his cabinet. No one.
Pete Hegseth is the best thing that's happened to this country. Not for nothing. The guy is, they can't stand us. It aggravates me. They want a guy like this last guy that was up there.
They're scared of him.
Took 2 weeks off and,
Pete Hegseth, every man wants to be like him, and every woman wants to have sex with him. And they're afraid of him for a number of reasons. They might think he's going to become president.
That meme he put out the other day was the greatest meme I've ever seen in my life. They said, what do they want, an Austin in there? Austin, remember, he disappeared for 2 weeks. We had a president that disappeared for 4 years. We had Austin was gone for 2 weeks. No one knew where he was. And they never said nothing. Nothing. It's all about.
He didn't even tell. He went AWOL. He didn't even tell the president or the White House, and he was gone for. And by the way, gone for 2 weeks, and no one noticed. Right? The Secretary of Defense. That was crazy. Lloyd Austin. Look that up if you don't believe us. Look it up.
Where's the press?
Exactly.
The press only is negative against the Republican Party. I watch it every Sunday on these shows. I mean, Martha Raddatz is, like you said, it's all the same thing. Jonathan Karl, Stephanopoulos, they're all, no matter what you do, and not for nothing, this Connecticut, the what do you call it, Admiral today is coming in front of, behind closed doors.
Yeah.
The Connecticut senator said a bunch of lies yesterday. I'm listening. They don't believe Trump. They don't believe anything. They think that the military hates Trump. They make up what they want to make up.
Well, what I was talking about, I don't know if you heard me talking about this yesterday, Richie. The senator you're talking, I played that on the air yesterday. He was citing on CNN the crimes that the admiral committed. What the media are doing and what the Democrats are doing is sedition. Tokyo Rose, and at the end of the second, she was an American citizen, and she was doing the same thing MSNBC, CNN, and the Democrats are doing. She was speaking directly with the military, trying to undermine the chain of command, tell them lies, discourage them. She went to federal prison for 10 years after the war, and these Democrats and Rachel Maddow and Kristen Collins, all these, they're all doing what Tokyo Rose was doing. Same thing.
This senator basically said, I hope the military saves America.
Yeah.
In other words, to go against the government.
They want a coup. They're calling for a military coup is what they're doing.
I never seen anything quite like this in my life. I'm honest to God. I mean, Brian, it's a daily thing.
Yep.
I don't know. You can't keep up with it anymore. It's great for talk radio because every day you got something else to talk about. But I got to tell you, this country has never been, and they blame Trump for the chaos. They create the chaos.
That's right.
This is purposely done. They don't. If they went along with President Trump, think about how great this country would be. If everyone was all in one ballpark,
they're openly calling for a military coup of the United States government.
Yeah, I forgot the senator's name. The guy from Connecticut.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I played it yesterday. The old guy isn't he an independent? Is he the one that's an independent, but he caucuses with the Democrats?
No. I don't think so. He's
we're thinking of different guys.
Warner.
Oh, Warner. Yes, Warner. Yes.
Warner. That came to my head.
Yeah.
Warner. Actually, Brian, how can you say, "I hope the military saves us against Trump"?
It's crazy.
I mean, What
crazy.
What kind of talk?
They want to have a military uprising and military tribunals.
And another thing, I'm going to bring this up too with the Somalia crap. This governor has got the dirtiest hands in the world. You can't tell me he didn't know everything was going on and he didn't get kicked back either.
Please.
I am telling you, they got to strip this guy right off. He should be in front. He should be in jail.
Well,
today.
Mike Lindell of My Pillow went and got the paperwork to file to run against him for governor, and Mike Lindell will be all over television and on every show like this, going through the crimes up there in Minnesota. The spotlight's going to be on that all year.
But the Somalis will vote for him because that's what he's got. He's got a bunch of...
We'll see about that. There's some major deportation issues going on. All right, Richie, I got to run. Let's see here. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
You know, you go back and you watch that video of Martha Raddatz and you look at her body language. She did not want to report the story the way she reported it. Because basically the story has been 100% confirmed, and especially the fact that these guys tried to get back on the drug boat to save the drugs.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
So, and she did, the way this thing got confirmed, it's like, okay, she's not able to finesse it or rephrase it in a way that would hurt Trump. It's been 100% confirmed. So look at her, go back and look at the body language, and it's like she was defeated, you know?
No doubt about it. All right, Mike, I appreciate the call. Right on the money. Now, if you missed it, I'll play it again. I'm going to play this a lot today. I got a lot to cover, but this is huge. Martha Raddatz of ABC News, she was on with David Muir last night, their bizarro anchor. And remember, Martha Raddatz is not only a hardcore Democrat, she's a hardcore Hillary Clinton Democrat. And when President Trump defeated Hillary Clinton, Martha Raddatz was on ABC News live crying. Remember that? She was crying. And she's reporting the truth about the drug boat. Listen to this.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Wow. I mean, so it is all coming apart. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you are listening. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out. And every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's WORX. And view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel. Sometimes the hardest thing to ask for is help. And yet behind closed doors, millions of families are struggling with the basics. The light bill, the rent, the phone that keeps them connected to work and school. Not because they failed, but because life hits hard. That's why there's CloakedCare.com, a first-of-its-kind platform built on dignity, privacy, and real compassion. At CloakedCare.com, people can privately post the essential bills they're fighting to keep up with. Utilities, medical cost, rent, phone, and more. And donors can choose a bill and pay directly toward it, with funds sent straight to the verified service providers. There's no uncertainty, no middlemen, just real help for real needs. CloakedCare.com was founded by Marine Corps veteran Leighton Clybourne and was named the best anonymous bill payment service in the United States for 2025, honoring its transparent and innovative approach to modern giving. At CloakedCare.com, every contribution makes a measurable impact, keeping a home warm, a phone connected, or the lights on during a tough month. It's people helping people quietly, respectfully, transparently. CloakedCare.com. That's CloakedCare. Visit today to ask for help or to be the help someone's been praying for. CloakedCare.com. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code CANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code CANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code CANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City, Missouri.
Hey, Scott, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to give you some information and let me know if you actually heard of this. The topic of the Somali immigrants, refugees, has come up a lot. And one thing that people have to know about Somalia people here in this country is most of them are economic opportunists. They've actually come here not from Somalia as refugees. They've come here from Kenya. They were maybe refugees in Kenya, and Kenya is full of Somali refugees, many of them.
Yeah.
But somebody said Obama brought a lot of them in here to this country.
Sure he did, yeah.
But yeah, the idea that they're like the Jews who were trying to get out of Europe before the Second World War, that's not what's going on. I worked with Somalian men. I never really met their women. That's a cultural thing I'm not supposed to do.
Well, I'll tell you, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about, you're right about Obama. Obama, if you look back at Obama's 8 years, it doesn't seem that eventful, but he was doing a lot of things behind the scenes. And one of them is he flooded the United States with Muslims from all over the world, placing them in places that they've since taken over. And he did it without us even realizing it. That's why when Trump was running the first time, the Muslim ban was a big deal at the beginning of his first term, because it had been uncovered what Obama was doing. This is all Obama's doing.
Yeah, and I've heard that from many others, and I just wondered what really is his intention with that?
To turn the country less white, to turn the country into a minority country.
And to do that, that gives you I can't think of the name. It's when there's a certain elite that run everything, and everybody else is worker bees, is not a middle class. Yeah. And I can't think of the name of that.
Well, when the Obama mindset, there was Dinesh D'Souza, who Obama sent to prison because he was exposing him, right? Obama and his people around him, they had this idea that the world would be better without America. That all the problems in the world are America's problems because we're the rich country. We're the richest country in the world, and we have the largest economy and all this stuff. Our poor are rich compared to the standards of so much of the world. So, they were trying to take us down a peg because it was we owe this debt to the Obama has a foreign mindset, not an American mindset.
Yeah, well, we hear about other countries' wonderful healthcare systems. They can afford those because they have the United States military protecting their countries.
Plus, yeah, exactly. Europe has very small militaries, and they have very small militaries, basically no navies, and they've been ripping us off like Canada with the trade deals. So we have been covering the biggest expense in the modern world for first world countries is military, and we've been covering the bill for all their militaries and paying for their universal health care. That's why their system seems to work, because they're welfare states off of the United States.
Yeah, and when there's trouble, America 911.
Yeah. The damage that Obama has done to this country is everything that Trump is cleaning up. It really is. I mean, the damage that Obama has done is almost beyond repair.
Yeah, and I don't remember what the event was, but when Obama turned loose on Trump and made fun of him, this is kind of a war between the two of them. Oh yeah, I'll show you. And
did you see that video of Michelle this week when she was had the glam squad trying to make her look pretty for a photo shoot, the Annie Leibovitz photo shoot?
I saw a glimpse of that.
Oh my goodness!
I just didn't want to. I didn't want to look.
It was pretty scary.
I know what you're talking about.
It was pretty
What do you
scary.
have to say about it?
It was very scary to watch. It was. First off, she's on Ozempic, and people that are on Ozempic, their faces look like a skull with just some skin attached to it. I mean, there's nothing.
That's sad.
She doesn't look good on any time, but now she looks really and it shows how in love she is with herself. She wants to be like a Kardashian, where she just goes around and people worship her for being her, and she has this glam squad trying to make her look pretty and all this stuff. It's a very bizarre thing. They're split up. They're no longer together. The Obamas, they've totally split. Yeah. It's obvious. They're leading separate lives totally.
What, they're different ends of that big mansion or whatever it is, or what?
I don't know if they're there at the same time very often.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'll leave you with this. I saw a picture of Barack and Michelle on stage. Barack was wearing a tuxedo. She was dressed in a gown. And I've seen this picture before. It reminded me of a gay MC and a drag queen at a drag queen contest.
Yeah, well, you better watch out. Remember, Joan Rivers made a comment like that, and then she turned up dead.
Yeah, I heard that story.
It's true.
Okay, well, you take care.
Coincidence, maybe. Thank you for the call. Yeah, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be switching over to the radio soon. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. We've got less than a minute until we start. So where am I? Which one am I going to start with? I'm going to start with that. And then that one.
It's found that.
Okay. If you're watching with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video, you have to go to my main stream, which is linked in the description. All right, we got less than 20 seconds. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. It is Thursday, December 4th already. Can you believe it? So much to talk about, so much to cover. We got some really major breaking news this morning that I hope becomes the focus of the mainstream media, and it involves the narco-terrorist boats and that latest military strike that they're trying to start a military coup with, which I'm going to share that audio with you in just a few moments. If you'd like to call in, you're welcome to do so. The number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I want to mention something, though. Elon Musk had a very big private meeting a couple days ago. Did you guys hear about this? And it was very interesting. It was with the Doge people and others, but it was a private meeting, and it's being reported in multiple sources what he talked about. He's still MAGA. He's still with us. He was predicting 12 years of MAGA rule, and has predicted that not only will J.D. Vance be the next president after President Trump, the second MAGA president, that he is going to have a firm 2-term presidency, which will actually give us 16 years of MAGA, with the autopin breaking it apart there at a minimum. And, I had a call a couple weeks ago, and he made some good points that maybe Elon never left Trump, but because, he said in this meeting, Elon Musk, that his life is in danger, that it's Putin, Trump, and him are the three biggest targets in the world, and they were firebombing his dealerships, and people were getting hurt, and it was escalating. And it looks to me as if Elon Musk stepped aside for his safety, his family's safety, and the safety of those who work for him at the Tesla dealerships and elsewhere, and that he's always been with us. And I thought that was a great thing. He's the richest man in the world, the wealthiest African-American, Elon Musk. He's incredibly brilliant, although a little strange. But guys that are that rich and successful usually are a little eccentric, so he's a little touched. But that's okay. But I do like that he was predicting 2 terms of J.D. Vance, who's doing a wonderful job. All right, now I want to get into this major update. The Democrats, I was talking on yesterday's show, they're in this seditious six, it's spread. The entire left-wing mainstream media are now a part of this coup business that's going on, okay? They're trying to cause a military uprising. They're working very hard to try to get an officer to disobey an order, whether it's the admiral down there off Venezuela or the fighter pilot launching the rockets at the narco-terrorist drug boats. They're working very hard to do this. And in their mind, they think it's possible. Now, who knows? There's a lot of woke people still in the military. So they may find someone who's stupid enough to disobey a direct order during this war on drugs that's going on in South America. I hope not, but that's what they're trying to do. And what I was talking about towards the end of yesterday's show is what they are literally doing is what Tokyo Rose was doing during the Second World War. And if you're not familiar with Tokyo Rose, you're probably a Democrat. But Tokyo Rose was an American of Japanese descent who had family in Japan that she was visiting when Pearl Harbor happened. She got stuck behind enemy lines, and she was an American girl from Ohio. And they put her on, the Japanese put her on the radio to talk directly to American service personnel, Army and Navy. The Germans had a version too, Axis Sally in Europe, but Tokyo Rose is the most famous. And she would spread misinformation, was trying to cause dissent, destroy morale, trying to get people to not follow orders, and all of this stuff. When the war was over, she was still in Japan, and she was tracked down by a couple of reporters who found her. And for whatever reason, it was either Vanity Fair, Time, or Life magazine, one of those big, like Time, Life, Vanity Fair, one of those big magazines that aren't relevant or don't exist anymore. And they interviewed her, and the story went viral in 1940, by what viral standards were back then. She got arrested. She got brought back to the United States. She was tried on sedition charges, Tokyo Rose, and she was convicted, and she was sentenced to 10 years in the federal penitentiary. And she did get out and then went back to Ohio and lived out the rest of her days, Tokyo Rose. Well, that's what MSNBC, now called MS Now, is doing. That's what CNN is doing. It's what all the Democrats are doing. They are doing today with the current, they're focusing on the guardsmen that are being sent in the blue cities, the National Guardsmen, and our naval and marine personnel off the coast of Venezuela that are involved in this ongoing combat operation. They are doing the same thing that Tokyo Rose went to prison for 10 years for doing. No exaggerations. It's just the way it is. And they need to be called out. This is all sedition. It is criminal. Hardcore criminal. And it's also disgusting that this is happening in the United States. It really is, isn't it? It's sad. I mean, this is their whole new avenue to go after Trump on. And I'm telling you, the media still has a lot of very woke people in it, especially the officers. Remember when, a few weeks back when Pete Hegseth recalled all of the generals and admirals worldwide and dressed them down, and he was talking about how out of shape they were, fat they were, and all this stuff, and they were pissed. So there's a lot of generals and admirals in all the military branches that hate Trump and Pete Hegseth like the plague. And during the lower ranks, enlisted and officers, and the lower ranks, there's a lot of woke people in there, right? Those drag queens are still there. They're just not in drag anymore. Remember the tailhook scandal? Bunch of fighter pilots hooking up, getting drunk at a party. They made the biggest deal out of tailhook. Look what they're doing here. They're trying to cause a military uprising, a military coup. And they actually believe that a military coup is possible, and they want it. They want the military to save us. And it's very important to call them out on it. So they zeroed in on this drug boat. The whole video of this narco-terrorist drug boat has not even been seen by them. And they're still describing that the boat was taken out and the guys on board were holding on for dear life, and they took out these guys who were just trying to stay afloat and not drown, which is a war crime. And that is, even in the Second World War, if, a fighter pilot shot down a Japanese Zero and the pilot parachuted out, you couldn't fire at the pilot who was falling with his parachute or fly through the parachute ropes. That would be considered a war crime. Not that they didn't do it, but if you got caught, you could be charged as a war, Geneva Conventions and all that stuff. But how did they come to this conclusion? The video had not been seen. Well, now it has, and I'm going to share it with you. It is in audio, so you'll be able to hear it after the break. So after the break, from a liberal source, I'm going to share with you, a very liberal source, as liberal as it gets, I'm going to share with you what really happened with the narco-terrorist boat. Now, we're welcoming another new sponsor to the program today, Jamie Levac. He's an accountant. His accounting firm is called Swift Tax. Yeah, like Taylor Swift, Swift Tax. And you want to call him. You want to call him before the year is out. You want to call today. And I'm going to give you Jamie Levac, our accountant's number. He's just joining us today for the first time as a sponsor of the program. The entire tax code has changed with the big, beautiful bill for everyone. And you don't want to wait till after the first of the year. You want to call Jamie Levac. You want to call him today and tell him your situation so you can have all of what you have to have in order. And those of you that are seniors that are receiving Social Security, there are huge tax changes for senior citizens receiving Social Security. And those of you who are retired receiving Social Security and working, there's all kinds of new rules for you as well. But the entire tax code has changed. You want to make sure that you have everything in order so you get all of those great, big, beautiful Bill Trump tax benefits. And Jamie Levac from Swift Tax is going to do that for you. So call him today. This number rings directly to him. All right, this is his direct number, 954-773-1587, 954-773-1587. And not only has the entire tax code changed, there are so many tax savings that we've never had before for everybody in every income bracket. He can help you, by the way, no matter where you are in the United States. He's based here in Florida, in Broward County, but no matter where you are in the United States, Jamie Levac can do your taxes, help you with your taxes. So give him a call and talk to him, and he'll make sure that you get everything you need in order before the year is out so you can take advantage of all these incredible tax benefits. Again, it's Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. His number, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. This is what we voted for. Take advantage of it. 954-773-1587. We'll be right back.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta, and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. From author Alexander Mazzo comes the Amazon #1 new release, Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime. The Napoleon of Crime is left one final puzzle, his own story. After the Battle of the Reichenbach Falls, Sherlock Holmes finds a discarded coat, and inside it, Professor Moriarty's private journal. Not a memoir, a manifesto. Page by page, a mathematical prodigy becomes London's shadow emperor. Equations turn to weapons. Chess becomes choreography, and the streets of 1890s London become his laboratory. But one question haunts every entry. Why would a man who ruled from the shadows risk everything in hand-to-hand combat above a chasm? Meticulously researched and canon faithful, Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime is Victorian noir, atmospheric, immersive, psychologically razor sharp. Enter his mind if you dare. You may not wish to leave. Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime is available right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute on the radio. We're still in a radio station break. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free. It is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. About 30 seconds, we'll be back. I'll go to the phones. I'll share this video. But things are happening, and they're all good. We have never had winning like this. If you're new, my name's Brian. We're in a radio station break. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Stand by. Less than 20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, what's up, Texas? What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank
That's
you for
good.
asking.
Same thing here, man. How's your wife?
My wife is doing well, too.
That's good. That's good. And your daughter, too?
Everyone's fine.
They're good. Okay, here's my question.
Here we go. That's the setup.
I think, okay, it's not the setup, bro. I'm talking.
You're talking out of your what?
I'm just saying. I'm just asking how your family doing, like a human being would ask how.
So you must be very excited. President Trump is ridding the inner city of crime and drugs. As a black man in America, that must excite you.
No, Brian. No, he's not, because he's going after some criminals, but he's going after people that's working on jobs. He's going after people that's going to the immigration. What do you mean, working on jobs? You mean like importing drugs into the United States? Those kind of jobs? He's going after those people? Yes, you're correct. Brian, you know that's not what I'm talking about. And stop. You know what I'm talking about. There's people out there. It's like New Orleans. New Orleans after Katrina. There's people that came to New Orleans and helped New Orleans build up. Now.
All right, so listen, why'd you pick up your phone and call today? Not to talk about Katrina.
I'm talking about the immigrants, Brian. I'm talking about the people that, not the people that the criminals. That's the other people that's out here every day that's trying to work hard, that's trying to do right. And
what are your thoughts on the Somalians that stole $1 billion from the taxpayers?
Oh yeah, that's fine. He needs to go after them, but not all the Somalians. That is like, okay. Really? Do you watch the news? Do you watch the news?
Of course. I am the news.
Okay. I'm gonna use this thing because you're talking about Somalians. I'm gonna go somewhere with you. If a white man commit a crime, is all white men bad? No. That person is bad. And you go after them with all the might you can go after them. It's like if some Somalians stole some money, you go after them, but not all Somalians are bad.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, okay? The Somalians of Minnesota, okay, those aren't. Let me put you on hold. I answer these lines. My phones are ringing off the hook. All right, you back with me?
I'm here.
Okay. The Somalians in Minnesota are not immigrants. Okay. What they are colonizers. They have a colony in Minnesota, and they've set up their own little country, their own little colony. And in that country, it's like their home country. The colony of Somalia, which is known as Minnesota, is a place of thievery and corruption. I saw the police chief on TV speaking in Somalian last night. You know, I mean, come on,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they're not,
He made-
you know,
he
like
made me
you're okay,
Somalian.
like you're African American, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so as an African American, African Americans have contributed a lot to our great country, a lot.
Yep.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
you know, my family is you know, I have multiple backgrounds. You know, I'm of course of European descent. Europeans have contributed a lot to this country, right? The democracy, the freedoms we have. The Somalians of Minnesota, what have they contributed to this country?
Brian, they may have. You don't know because you're so racist against the Somalians.
Well, no, you
and
tell
I'm
me.
not gonna even answer-
What we know what
I'm
the
not gonna even
we
answer
know
that
what the
question. I'm not
African American
gonna answer
contribute. We know what your ancestors and families' contributions are. Mine, but the Somalians, their major contribution
Brian,
is
how
financial
you know,
crime.
Brian, you see, you are sitting up there. You're blaming all the Somalians on a couple of people. That's like I just told you, because one white man committed a crime, one white woman, or one black man. You don't do that to all the race. And Trump is just racist as he want to be. And I'm tired of him. I'm tired of hearing you saying he's not. He is. Boom, done.
So you can't think
And
of
I'm tired
you can't think of a contribution
Brian,
the
I'm not
Somalians
talking-
have given to this country?
Maybe they have.
But you can't think of any.
I'm telling you, because I don't know, Brian. But I'm saying is you are. Because one couple of Somalians may have stole some money. You blaming everybody.
It's not one. It's
And
$1
that's
billion
wrong,
bucks.
bro.
It's a lot of small. You know, has it occurred to you that the reason you can't think of a Somalian contribution is because there is not one that's positive?
Brian, I don't know, Brian. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know, and I'm admitting that I don't know. But
If
you're
there was
blaming
if there
everything.
was a positive contribution, you would know.
And Brian, those Somalians are every day. The majority of them are every day trying to go to work, take care of their family, like you doing, like I'm doing. We all doing, and you're blaming them. And Trump, like I said, he's so racist. He wants this country as pure white as it wants to be. His wife is an immigrant. They need to get rid of her. She said, get rid of her. Get rid of his children. They're not what you call her. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of you every day that sit up there blaming, oh, they're all bad. No, they're not. And you sitting up there saying that, and that's wrong for you to say. And that's just wrong. And I'm not going to even argue with you about it anymore.
Yeah, because you can't.
Yeah, I can. And I'm not, because you sitting up there, okay, Brian, I'm not going to. I admitted that I don't know.
You know, if you look at other groups like the Chinese, right? People give the Chinese a hard time, right? I understand CCP and all this stuff. The Chinese have great contributions to this country. They were in large part responsible for the construction of the Intercontinental Railroad, right? You know, and you know, so there's
and maybe Somalians. Maybe I don't. I'm saying I don't know.
Cuban Americans. I give you Cuban Americans as a community have done amazing things building up Miami, which is a beautiful place. You know, but the Somalians, all they got is corruption.
Some of them too. And it's not, Brian,
No, he's not.
you're missing the point what I'm trying to say. It's not all Somalians are bad. And you're grouping them all into one. Because you're racist too.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. See, you know,
There
this
you go.
is the thing. People are tired of the race card, the anti-immigrant card. It doesn't fly anymore.
I'm tired of it too, Brian. I'm tired
When
of it too.
when
because
when
I'm
when the
tired of saying it
liberals
because
have no
it's
argument,
true.
when the liberals have no
I'm tired
argument,
of it,
they
Brian.
throw
I'm
that
tired.
out.
I'm tired of it too. Because
Well, then
y'all
stop
sitting up
using
there
it.
every day. I'm tired. I shouldn't have to use it. I shouldn't have to use
Please.
it because it's true, and you know it is true.
I
shouldn't
am,
have to use it.
you know,
because
this
I
is.
believe in this. I believe. Let me finish.
No, you called me a racist. You know, you asked how my daughter was. My daughter was visiting yesterday because it was my wife and I's 29th wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
You know, my daughter's black. What kind of racist would have a black child?
I've seen your daughter. Your
Uh-huh.
daughter Your daughter, I've seen your daughter.
Uh-huh.
Your daughter, okay, you're at that time, you may have not been racist, but now you are. You may not be fully blown. You are what I call undercover racist. You may not be full racist, but you
So why would someone who's a racist have only one child and that child be black? Can you explain that?
Because again, what I'm telling you, you may not be, because I think, you know what I really think about you? You are racist because Trump is racist, and you believe everything Trump says. If Trump come out there and say, get rid of your daughter, you'll do it today. Because that's how you believe.
Care. What an idiot thing to say. Are you in pain? Oh, man. Go see Dr. Appleton, guys. I've been telling you about Dr. There's no need to be in pain. You know, my life has changed in ways I can't even explain to you. You know, when you're living with pain, you're not that active. You can't be, because you just want to go to sleep. You just want to go to sleep. You really do. You know, how many people out there are taking drugs, pain medications? You know, pain medications, they don't do anything but mask the symptoms of the pain. In fact, you could be doing a lot of damage to yourself on top of becoming a junkie. But the pain is telling you something's wrong in your body, and you need to stop doing what you're doing with that part of your body. And when you take pain medication, you mask the pain, you're doing things, you're making the damage worse. Dr. Appleton's robotic laser wave pain treatment works. It hasn't only worked on me 7 times. I've been so many listeners who've gotten their lives back. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. The consultation is free, so take advantage of that no-charge consultation. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. The number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. You know, that last caller, guys, what an idiot. What an idiot thing to say. You know, people are fatigued of all of these things. All these liberal accusations, right? You're a racist. You hate immigrants. You're this, you're that. People are tired of it. And it's not working anymore. We'll be right back.
Do you ever wish you could step back into the greatest decade of all time, the 80s? You're not alone. That's when members-only jackets made you cool, parachute pants swished with every move, when leg warmers, big hair, and neon ruled, and your Walkman, Atari 2600, and Rubik's Cube were your most prized possessions? If you missed the A-Team, Knight Rider, breakdancing, hair metal, arcades, and that unmistakable new wave sound, you're not alone. Welcome to WeLoveThe80s.com. The community built by people who still believe the 80s were hands down the most iconic decade ever. At WeLoveThe80s.com, they celebrate everything that made the 80s unforgettable. The music, the movies, the fashion, the video games, the attitude, and of course, the memories that shaped a generation. If the 80s live in your heart, relive them with WeLoveThe80s.com. That's WeLoveTheeights.com. Go right now to WeLoveThe80s.com and take your place among the totally awesome. In a world where gifts are predictable and mugs are just mugs, one Etsy shop dares to be legendary. From epic movie poster mugs to face-melting rock and roll mugs to Christmas mugs so festive they may cause spontaneous jingling. This holiday season, unleash the perfect gift for the fan, the collector, the caffeine addict, or the person who simply deserves something awesome. Don't just give a mug, give a moment, give a masterpiece. Visit the Etsy store, loveitlistings.etsy.com. Before the credits roll. That's loveitlistings.etsy.com. Loveitlistings.etsy.com. Start shopping right now. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716 716-4879 and use the promo code CANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code CANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code CANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, we will be back in 10 seconds, guys, about. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Brian. You know, I gotta respond to this guy from Texas. He gets me crazy. Yes, there are good people from all over the world, okay? But like Harvard, the college, Harvard, the most expensive college with brilliance, supposedly, if there were 5,000 students and you took 1,000 Somalians all at one time with no education, illiterate, and put them into Harvard, would Harvard standards drop? Would they drop? Absolutely.
See, you know what President Trump said yesterday. He said Somalia is not even a nation; it's just a bunch of people walking around killing each other.
Yeah, I'm going to bring something else up too. The oldest country in our hemisphere. Most people don't know. I know you know. It's Haiti.
Yes.
And Haiti is just like Somalia. And you listen, the decent Haitians they're good people, but they're half the country. I used to get this lady that was very educated. She was high sophisticated Haitian woman whose family, her father was a doctor. She came to the United States. She was very educated. She was a professional woman. She said the Haitians that are on the island are illiterate. They're not. There's no school system. There's no government. People don't realize this. We cannot take people that are uneducated, people, no matter how good they are. And
Richie, it's not. Listen. It's not just that they're. It's not that they're uneducated. Somalia is. It's not a civilized country. It's prehistoric in nature. It's still very tribal. All right, Richie, I got some things I want to get to, but we'll get back to Somalia in just a bit. If you're on hold, hang in there. Okay, so I want to play this major update on the narco-terrorist boat where they took the 2 shots. What they're doing is just unconscionable. You know, the full video of this attack on this drug boat has not been released, and that hasn't stopped the media from reporting that the boat was destroyed and the 2 guys were hanging on to a piece of fiberglass to try to stay afloat, and they've had this narrative that they took out the guys that were trying to stop from being drowned, and that was the end of it. Well, we've got the truth now, and what I'm going to share with you was reported last night, and it is the truth of what happened. Not only is it the truth of what happened, it is from the most liberal source you could possibly find. Martha Raddatz of ABC News last night went on ABC Nightly News with David Muir. It doesn't get more liberal than that. Remember, Martha Raddatz, when President Trump won the first time against Hillary Clinton, she was live on television covering it at the decision desk at ABC News. She cried on the air. Remember that? We were making fun of her the next day. She cried on the air. So she is as liberal gets. So this is from Martha Raddatz and David Muir, ABC News last night. They're talking about the drug boat with the 2 shots taken that they're calling a war crime. Martha Raddatz sets the record straight.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Oh, wow. So it is falling apart for them. It is not only is it falling apart, it's falling apart fast and hard. It really, truly is. And yeah, I know. It's amazing. They weren't even holding on to a barrel of fentanyl. They were back in the boat calling for backup on the radio. They were calling for backup. And you know, these cartels have access to military grade. So we've got Martha Raddatz. And then yesterday, President Trump had, his big announcement on the with the emissions, and it turned into, as always, a press conference. And he was asked about this. Listen.
It's found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat. Should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so they're going to release the, not only, I love it, no apologies from President Trump. Not only is there no apology, he's quadrupling down on what he's going to do, right? He's doubling down on it. He said, we're going to go by land because we know where everything is. So no apologies, going to go after them on land. And they're going to release the entire video, which no one has seen yet. So, how did they come to this conclusion to report that they were just out there trying to stop from drowning, the boat had been destroyed and all this stuff, and nobody had seen it? They just made it up. They just made the entire thing up. And it's all falling apart for them, like everything else. Hey, listen, let them bring it on. Bring it on. Keep with their fake news, their lies, their slanders, their sedition. Every time they do this, it just makes it easier for us to win the midterm elections. Oh, by the way, I'll play the audio later. I don't have it queued up. Brian Glenn, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, was in the White House Oval Office press conference. He was called on by President Trump, and President Trump praised him in the Oval Office. The president wanted everybody to know that Brian Glenn is still okay. And I'm wondering, did he do that to take a jab at MTG? I don't know, but I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene and Brian Glenn are going to make it as a couple, because not too good for his career right now. Not too good for his career right now. And the president went out of his way to say nice things about Brian Glenn yesterday. And I was glad to see it. I like Brian Glenn. I was a big fan of his on Right Side Broadcasting. I wish he could have stayed there. I liked what he was doing over there, but he moved on. He got to make a living. He moved on. And he always asks great questions. He's very, very good. Yeah. So this war crime sedition thing is evaporating like that. These people on the left, the seditious six and the rest of them, they're not thinking clearly. They're not thinking clearly at all. This is CNN yesterday.
got to do that. That was a choice. That was a policy choice.
Larger gap in America between the haves and have-nots right now. And
don't you love Ana Navarro? She's rich, right? She's on The View. She's on CNN. She's talking about that. She's representing the have-nots.
That was a choice. That was a policy choice.
Larger gap in America between the haves and have-nots right now. And the problem is that Donald Trump lives in a white billionaire bubble. And if you are a multimillionaire, if you are a billionaire, you're doing very well because the stock market, despite everything else that's going on, is going strong. But if you are one of the people who shops at Costco and goes home with 30 rolls of toilet paper and 20 pounds of ground beef, you are feeling it. And these people that Trump hangs out with on a daily basis, the billionaires in his cabinet, the billionaires at Mar-a-Lago, the billionaires that he invites to the White House, they are not feeling it. And he just, he is clueless. When he says that affordability doesn't mean anything to anybody, it means a hell of a lot to the people who can't get health care
now are
because
Democrats.
Those premiums, actually they're not.
Yes, they are. For every billionaire who gave Donald Trump money, Kamala Harris got 2.
All right.
So this is really a Democrat issue.
Okay, now the reason I share this, couple things here. Was it J.D. Vance that said this the other day, or was it Blinken? It was during the cabinet meeting. I can't remember which one said it. Who said who? If you know who, let me know who. I think it was J.D. They've created another fake. They got all these fake crises, right? The war on women, climate change, global warming, this thing where they got all these fake crises, right? The affordability crisis. I think it was J.D. Vance that said this. This is one of the fakest things there are out there, right? The affordability crisis. Wages are up. You know how I know they're up? There's so many multimillionaire liberals out there. They're constantly going on about billionaires are evil. I've been pointing this out to you a lot. Do you know who the biggest attackers of the billionaires are in this country? What group is attacking the billionaires with a B more than any other group? I don't mean liberals and Democrats. You know who? Millionaires. Millionaires. I promise you, Ana Navarro and her husband are millionaires. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Mom Donnie, millionaires. Right? Elizabeth Warren, a millionaire. We used to have a phrase, we need an update for this. Maybe somebody out there could come up. We used to talk about limousine liberals. These millionaire liberals, these millionaire social justice warriors, it used to be the millionaires were bad. Now it's the billionaires because they've all become millionaires. And by the way, they become millionaires off the back of Donald Trump, right? Bernie Sanders, AOC, all of them, they're making their millions on Trump's coattails, going after him. We need a new phrase, though. We used to have limousine liberals. What could be the new phrase for these millionaire liberals? It's such a joke. I'm a thousandaire. You guys a thousandaire? I hope to be a millionaire one day. Being a millionaire is not a bad thing. Don't misunderstand me. But I just love how these people... I remember once Oprah Winfrey... remember Oprah Winfrey was trying to take over for Barbara Walters and did these celebrity interviews. I was watching an interview with Oprah Winfrey. She interviewed Eddie Murphy when he first made it big. This was, I don't remember which movie he was promoting, but this was around the Beverly Hills Cop era. And she interviewed Eddie Murphy in his mansion that he had just bought, and it didn't have furniture in it yet because he had just bought it, and he was sitting on the floor with Oprah in his mansion that didn't have furniture in it yet. And she was asking him all these questions about money and how much he made and what he was doing and what he was buying. And Oprah was rich. She was she was a billionaire already. Remember, through stock investments and such. Remember this? When she got her show, she was already like a millionaire and a billionaire. And Eddie Murphy said, Oprah, wait, Oprah, you trying to act like you're poor? You're richer than me. What are you talking about here? Remember that? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I remember that so clear because it was so funny. Never go out, never duel with a comedian. But Ana Navarro and all these other, and by the way, Ana Navarro is supposedly a Republican. These millionaire social justice warriors that are constantly attacking the rich, when they're richer than most every American, they're in the top less than 0.5% of people when it comes to net worth. It's comical. And I wish some of these pundits would point it out. All of a sudden, billionaires are bad. Why, Anna Navarro? Because you're a millionaire? Why, AOC? Because you're a millionaire? Now millionaires are good? It's the billionaires that are the bad guys? Give me a break. Let me talk about the Sloman's Home Security System. This is an incredible Christmas gift, guys. Listen up. Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. That's why this makes a great Christmas gift. You can get it for yourself in your home, for your family, but your adult kids living out of the house, get it for them. Your grandparents, get it for them. Or maybe your parents, get it for them. A free home security system and professional installation, absolutely free. Your Sloman's Home Security System includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notifications, and remote keypad access. So you can check in anytime, no matter where you are in the world. Give them a call, 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. These people are out of their minds, aren't they? Give me a break. We'll be right back.
Sometimes the hardest thing to ask for is help. And yet behind closed doors, millions of families are struggling with the basics. The light bill, the rent, the phone that keeps them connected to work and school. Not because they failed, but because life hits hard. That's why there's CloakedCare.com, a first-of-its-kind platform built on dignity, privacy, and real compassion. At CloakedCare.com, people can privately post the essential bills they're fighting to keep up with. Utilities, medical cost, rent, phone, and more. And donors can choose a bill and pay directly toward it, with funds sent straight to the verified service providers. There's no uncertainty, no middlemen, just real help for real needs. CloakedCare.com was founded by Marine Corps veteran Leighton Clybourne and was named the best anonymous bill payment service in the United States for 2025, honoring its transparent and innovative approach to modern giving. At CloakedCare.com, every contribution makes a measurable impact, keeping a home warm, a phone connected, or the lights on during a tough month. It's people helping people quietly, respectfully, transparently. CloakedCare.com. That's CloakedCare. Visit today to ask for help or to be the help someone's been praying for. CloakedCare.com. Are you ready to live with more purpose, more clarity, and more faith? Of course you are. But how do you do it? And where do you even begin? That's easy with the podcast, Living to Be. Conversations on purpose, faith, and meaning with host Reno Gevers. Living to Be will guide you through the most meaningful years of your life with wisdom, honesty, and grounded in spiritual insight. Each episode covers what truly matters, from guarding your mind in our noisy world to leading with integrity, why truth still matters in uncertain times, and why saying it is still important. Through real stories and powerful conversations, you'll gain the confidence to grow, to reinvent yourself, and to live with intention each and every day. Living to Be is available on all podcast platforms. Make sure to share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Start becoming who you were meant to be and add Living to Be. Conversations on purpose, faith, and meaning with host Reno Gevers to your podcast playlist right now.
All right, we're back. Now, we got another minute till we're back. I got to play this, make sure it's radio safe. She swore in one clip I have. I don't know which one.
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Oh my goodness. That didn't sound like a good answer. There's one where she uses the S word. I can't play that one on the radio. All right, we got about 15 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? Good morning. This is Jose from the Bronx.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, just a couple of notes. Like in 2000, there was a good movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones, The Rules of Engagement. So, I think people forget about that, the left. Right now, there's a concerted effort by the deep state to get Pete Hegseth out, Don Bongino, Kash Patel out. So, we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
The good thing is that Trump is not going to get rid of them because they're very loyal to him. That's the way he picked them. That's why he picked them. But yeah, the deep state, they're going all out.
There's a big story at it. You're calling. They sure are. You're calling from New York. There's a big story. This guy, the homeless guy that attacked the girl walking down the street. Have you seen the video?
Yep.
This is, Mamdani's not even in office yet. And this woman, she was attacked in the middle of the day, broad daylight. I mean, what's the word on the street in New York about Mamdani coming in?
I mean, right now, I'm scared. Hopefully, like with the meeting with Trump, is going to line things up, and because he depends on federal funds,
yep,
I think they're going to tame him. And I think, hopefully Stefanik wins the governorship, so they're going to be able to sort of reel him in.
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah, that girl that was attacked. By the way, the homeless guy was white. For those who think that we're against, only minorities who commit crime, no, white people. We don't like white people committing crimes either. That's really scary, especially during the day. The guy, of course, with their no bail and everything, been arrested a whole bunch of times over the years and is walking free to assault young women walking down the street. So the Somalian corruption in Minnesota is the topic, even on CNN. Ilhan Omar was on with Jake Tapper yesterday, and he asked her about it. Listen.
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I love how Jake Tapper, how the fraud got so out of control. Is there a level of fraud that's okay? What does Jake Tapper mean? How did it get so out of control? Like a little bit of fraud's okay? What's Tapper saying here?
Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Whatever that means. Whatever the guardrails didn't get created, whatever. I mean, So they didn't. So she's saying that they did what they did, right? It's just that it's the government's fault that they didn't catch these corrupt Somalians when they were committing fraud. So she's blaming the government. And by the way, at that time, a lot of that, it was in Trump's first term when a lot of that happened. So she's blaming the federal government for her criminal countrymen. Well, the president was asked about Ilhan Omar in the Oval Office press conference yesterday. This is the one on the car standards. And what he said, I mean, this is some truthful talking yesterday from the president.
Of our country, and most of those people, millions of dollars, they have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Waltz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state.
Yeah. And when that clip that I played of Ilhan Omar on CNN with Jake Tapper, that's friendly territory for her. Did she not? She looked unwell to me. Her arrogance is gone. Her snootiness is gone. Her condescending tone of judgment and superiority is gone. You know, Ilhan Omar, you know, when you are a black liberal Democrat and good looking, you've got everything in the world. And she's used to never being challenged by anyone credible, being able to do and say whatever she wants. And she does not look happy. And this is I played a clip of her yesterday when she was questioned by someone who works for Laura Loomer in the halls of Congress. And I was telling her the same thing. Her snarkiness is gone. She looks depressed. She looked worried with Jake Tapper on CNN. She did not look happy at all. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. I can't believe it's Thursday already. 888-465-2631. We're welcoming a new sponsor to the program, and it's perfect timing here in December, the last month of the year. Jamie Levac, who's an accountant, and he has his own accounting firm, Swift Tax. I'm going to give you his number in a moment, and the number I give you rings directly to Jamie Levac, our accountant, and he's a good guy who comes highly recommended. The entire tax code has changed with the big, beautiful bill, and you want to make sure that you're not paying any money in taxes you don't have to. If you are a senior receiving Social Security benefits, oh man, it's hugely different for you guys this year. Also, if you are a senior receiving Social Security and you're working still and you know all the there's so many great benefits in the big, beautiful bill for you. If you're somebody who's a tip worker, and you want to make sure that you're not taxed on those tips or overtime, call Jamie Levac. If you're a business owner, he can also help you with your taxes no matter what state you are in the United States. No matter what state you're in, he can help you. He's very, very good. And there's just so many changes with the tax code. You want someone who's going to sit there and take the time with you to make sure that you get all those big, beautiful bill tax deductions that you are entitled to. If you're an Uber driver, Lyft driver, somebody in the gig economy, call Jamie Levac. He knows all about that. And, so many of you out there are paying so many taxes you shouldn't have to pay because you don't know how to properly do. You can't do these things on your own. And if you're somebody who has an accountant and you're not happy with the accountant, call Jamie Levac of Swift Tax. This is his number. Again, this number rings directly to him. This is his direct number. Give him a call. And you want to call now before the holidays are here so you can have everything in order. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. All right, we'll be back. The 7 o'clock hour will begin. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back right after this. All right, let's see here. Oh, yes, got to share that one.
One of the factors that drives...
I'm queuing some stuff up for the next hour.
Hello?
Hey, it's Brian.
Hey, man.
Hey, I'm going to put you on hold. We got a couple minutes, okay? I'll be right back to you. We're at the top of the hour break. Hold on. All right. Yeah, I got 2 minutes and we'll be back. You know, I got this. Look at this. Look at this story. This new poll done. Less than 25% of people polled know that Charlie Kirk's assassin is a liberal. Isn't that scary? How is that even possible? Who else would kill Charlie Kirk? Of course he's liberal. You know, all this, you know, everyone thinks because, you know, we got the new media now that everybody knows everything. They don't. The traditional mainstream media, you and I don't follow it, but millions do, and their influence is stronger and wider and more vast than you realize. That's why it's so important to get to these topics all of the time. You can't assume that people know what you know because they don't. Look at that. Less than 25%. Okay, we got about a minute, and we'll be back. Hold on. Just over a minute, we'll be back. Yeah, if you are on hold, hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's pinned in the live chat. Let's see. All right, the 7 o'clock hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Welcome, everyone. If you're on hold, stand by. We've got Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot on the line. Hey, Ian, how you doing?
Hey, Brian, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. A couple things we got to talk about here. Our cruise, our 10th annual Steve Kane, Brian Craig MAGA cruise is right around the corner, coming up in March. What's the date in March we're going away?
March 22nd to the 29th on Celebrity Beyond.
It's very excited. I can't wait. And we've got wonderful destinations. We're going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We're going to the Virgin Islands, and we're going to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. And this is going to be very possibly the most exciting, adventure-filled MAGA cruise we've done, because Ian has been working on some things, not just for our shore excursions, but onboard activities that are going to be things we've never done before at an incredible level that are going to be a lot of fun, right, Ian?
Oh, absolutely. You know, old favorites, new and exciting. You know, we always have a great time.
Yeah, you know, after when we were planning the details of this one, you know, the most difficult thing that we got to do is make every cruise above and beyond what the one before was, and they're all so good it becomes more and more difficult every time. But I think we've done it. I can't wait till we can announce all the activities and shore excursions, because this is just incredible stuff we got planned.
Absolutely. You know, after all the finals are in, after everything is said and done, then we'll announce all the group events and, you know, see if we can move forward with even more people.
So this is an important thing. Those of you that have made reservations, final payment is due on your cruise. You need to call Ian and take care of that. And, you know, Ian's a travel agent. You got some traveling of your own coming on. You're going to be on a cruise soon yourself, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going on another celebrity ship for a nice little relaxing weekend.
Yeah. So, guys, call Ian today if you can, this morning if you can. Final payments are due. If you've not already made a reservation, do we still have any group cabins available, Ian?
We actually do. They let me hold on to a few, so, to give me an opportunity to, sell the remaining inventory.
Okay.
Got some more inventory, but that's gone next week, and it ain't coming back.
Yeah, and if you get one of our group rates, you will be paying less than anybody else on the ship, and the 2019 pricing we've been talking about. So again, listen, if you haven't made a reservation yet, call Ian and join us. You're going to have a great time. But if you've already made a reservation and you've not made your final payment, please call Ian today if you can. His number is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's 561-244-5779 for Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. All right, Ian, we'll talk soon.
Have a great day, man.
All right, take care. All right, so let me get back to this. We've got so much to cover. So much is happening. This is, this narrative of the drug boat is falling apart. Let me play the Martha Raddatz story first, and then I'll get to some of these other updates because, this narrative, this fake news story that our Navy are war criminals committing war crimes, violating the Geneva Convention, and killing fishermen at sea who are trying not to drown and all this stuff. It's falling apart for them. And Martha Raddatz at ABC News, she has dropped the story of the week. And the reason I'm sharing it from her is because she is an out-of-the-closet fake news journalist. She is a lifelong radical Democrat, Martha Raddatz of ABC News. Remember, Martha Raddatz cried live on television when President Trump was declared the victor and beat Mrs. Clinton, right, in the first election. So I'm sharing the report from her. It is being reported elsewhere and will be as time goes on. But the reason I'm sharing the hardcore Democrat liberal telling of the story is so that Democrats that are hearing this can't say, oh, that's Fox News, that's Breitbart, that's this, that's that. I want them to hear it from the mouth of one of their own, Martha Raddatz. And it's a double dose of liberals. Martha Raddatz is in studio with David Muir on the ABC Nightly News talking about the narco-terrorist. Here it is.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Okay, and that tomorrow is today. That's amazing. And now we know that they had an illegal advisor, a JAG advisor. This is, by the way, this is what Ron DeSantis did when he was in the Navy. He was a JAG lawyer who was assigned to the SEALs to give them his opinion on whether what they were doing would be legal or illegal at that particular moment. It's really a sad thing that our fighting men and women have to walk around with lawyers before they pull the trigger. Seems that delay could cause some problems, but that's the way it is today. So they had legal advice. The JAG lawyer signed off on the second shot, and we found out that they weren't holding on and trying not to drown, that the boat made it, they were saving the boat, and they were calling in for backup, courtesy of left-wing Democrat Martha Raddatz. But the Democrat, that story hasn't really sunk in yet. So Jack Reed, who's one of these Democrat lunatics, he was on with Dana Bash on CNN. He's talking about the guys driving the drug boats.
One of the factors that drives use in the United States is demand. And most narco traffickers are not in those boats. They pay people to do that, and usually people who are not significantly involved with narco trading. It's the way they make money.
Oh, so they now notice there's a transition going. Like 2 days ago, these were fishermen. So now now we got Jack Reed, who's a Democrat senator, a complete lunatic. They're now acknowledging that they are driving boats filled with drugs. right? So they've moved on from the fishermen, and in fact, even those that have been attacking Hegseth and the Admiral have been admitting that they're drugs. So they've moved on from the fisherman narrative. So they've acknowledged that they're drug boats, but these are just guys making a living. Oh. So it's okay to make a living doing crime?
One of the factors that drives youth in the United States is demand. And most narco traffickers are not in those boats. They pay people to do that. And usually people who are not significantly involved with narco trading, it's the way they make money.
Oh, okay. That's just how they make money. These are just hard-working guys. This is how they make money. Really? Really? And Dana Bash, she says, I can never consider it. Yeah, you're right. What about pimps? They're just guys making money. They're not the ones actually having the sex. There's a demand for prostitutes, and they're just driving the hooker to the guy at the motel or whatever. Shouldn't be arresting pimps. There's a demand out there. These are just guys making a living, don't you know? What has happened to the Democrats? It's not that the Democrats have ever been right about something. They're always wrong, the Democrats. But the levels that they're going to are just incredibly new levels of scummy behavior. And, well, these, but I do like that at least they're acknowledging that these are not fishermen, that there are actual drugs on the boats. My goodness. And then Mark Warner was on TV. Things are falling apart bad for these people.
Unprecedented disrespect when they were all brought to get a pep rally in front of Hegseth and Trump. This is an administration that's fired, uniform generals from the head of the NSA, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Mm-hmm. And I think in many ways, the uniform military may help save us from this president and his lame people like Hegseth, because I think their commitment is to the Constitution and obviously not to Trump, and I expect Bradley to adhere to that.
You hear that? Now let me play that again. What he says is pretty interesting. Listen to this.
Unprecedented disrespect when they were all brought to get a pep rally in front of Hegseth and Trump. This is an administration that's fired, uniform generals from the head of the NSA, the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Mm-hmm. And I think in many ways, the uniform military may help save us from this president and his lame people like Hegseth, because I think their commitment is to the Constitution and obviously not to Trump, and I expect Bradley to adhere to that.
So, did you hear what he just said? The military, the officers are going to save us. So what Senator Mark Warner is saying, he is calling for a military coup against the federal government. How else could you take that? The military will save us, and he's counting on the Admiral. Is the Admiral a 4-star Admiral? I think he is. Maybe 3 stars. I think he's 4. We have moved into, the Democrats have moved into a territory, I guess they've given up on the lawfare. And now they want the military to rise up against the president of the United States and take control of the federal government. By their own definition, this is an insurrection. They're interfering with government business, the government business of the war that's going on drugs right now. This is sedition. It is treason. They're openly doing things that are illegal to do. They are openly calling for crimes to be committed. And this was on MSNBC, now known as MS Now. What news sources do they have available to them on these ships at sea? Do they have access to CNN and MS Now? I bet they do. They got to be hooked up on the Wi-Fi with the internet. They can see anything on their computers and phones and everything now, probably. Not only are they, yesterday we were talking about the day before, they were trying to cause a mutiny. They were trying to get one pilot, one admiral, one captain to refuse an order, right? Like the air boss won't clear a takeoff, or the fighter pilot won't fire at the drug boat, or the admiral will disobey an order. So the day before they were calling for a mutiny. Now what they're calling for is a military uprising because the military will save us. I cannot even believe I'm talking about this. It's hard. It's so surreal that it's even happening, isn't it? All right. Our number is toll free. If you're on hold, hang in there. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. 888-465-2631. Okay, now you hear a lot of talk of Christmas presents because, we got a lot of great Christmas present sponsors here on the program. I'm talking about Friendly Tire in Margate. There's no one who would not love new tires for Christmas. I would love new tires that sounds like a great gift, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a great gift. Tires for Christmas for your kids, for your mom, for your dad, for your grandparents. And you can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire at Friendly Tire in Margate. And remember, when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. Used tires, and by the way, that's as low as $75 on new tires. That's on common sizes on some of the most common and popular cars on the road. Good used tires, too. He has thousands of them in stock at Friendly Tire. You can get good quality used tires for as low as $35 a tire. $35. That's right. And when at that price, as low as $35 a tire, that's also out the door and on the road because he doesn't charge you to mount, balance, or dispose of your old tire. Give Friendly Tire a call, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
All right, this is the one. I got to listen to these. Ilhan Omar uses profanity in one of these clips.
Government programs of more than $1 billion of taxpayer money during the pandemic. We're talking about dozens of people in a community of thousands, of course. Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota is here with me now. First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases closely as they've gone through the courts, and we know that there are more indictments possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. Yeah. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Now, obviously, whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people. Okay, I want to make that very clear. President Trump has used this fraud to make rather
Doesn't she look nervous to
shockingly
you? Does she
bigoted
look nervous?
comments about Somalis in general, including you, but the entire Somali community in Minnesota. He did it yesterday, and he did it again today. Let's run some of that.
She looks nervous.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. She should be thrown the hell out of our country.
Let's see if she
and
denies
most
that.
of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople. Okay, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
It's pretty shocking to hear, although I don't know how shocked you are at this point anymore. But Somali immigrants, in general, you in particular, have been the target of his attacks for a long time. What's your response?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself. We know that this administration has not fulfilled the majority of the promises that they've made, whether it is bringing costs down, whether it is the tariffs that are decimating businesses in the United States, whether it is the possible war crimes that his defense secretary is committing. And so to me, it is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue to be in this country. And two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
What is the practical impact?
I didn't hear her deny the immigration fraud thing. That was it. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. That's interesting. Hold on, we're coming back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You know, I was just watching during the break. I'm going to play this for you. An extended interview. I'm going to play something. This was amazing that Ilhan Omar did with Tapper. I played a clip of it earlier. What she doesn't say says a lot. You know, what's going on, President Trump, he's tired of this. The left have brainwashed so many people in this country that America they've been giving us this guilt trip, that Americans need to feel guilty for all these things that none of us should feel guilty about, right? There's a lot of talk you've heard lately. There's like a trend on social media, black fatigue. Have you heard of black fatigue? People are done with being called racist, right? I mean, it's happened to me how many times on the show already today with callers earlier. And black fatigue has moved on to some other groups too. People are tired of being called a racist. It doesn't apply these days. And they've been calling us all kinds of things. Racist, xenophobe, heterophobe. You don't hate immigrants. There's a fatigue of all of this. And liberals, they use these plays against them. They fall down on the floor, beg for forgiveness. A couple years back, top Democrats like Nancy Pelosi were literally taking a knee, asking minorities to forgive them for things that they have nothing to do with. And people are tired of it. And President Trump is tired of it. And the things that President Trump has been doing and talking about since Thanksgiving are things that everyone's been thinking for a long time, but never has said. He's tired of it. He's sick of it. What he said about the Somalians of Minnesota, everybody agrees with that. People are tired of it. People are tired of the drugs coming into the country. So let me share this with you. This is Ilhan Omar. She's with Jake Tapper on CNN yesterday.
More than $1 billion of taxpayer money during the pandemic. We're talking about dozens of people in a community of thousands, of course. Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota is here with me now. First of all, federal prosecutors say 59 people have been investigated in these schemes so far. Americans at large stole tens of billions of forms of aid during the pandemic all over the country. Minnesota's fraud scandal stands out, according to federal auditors. What are you hearing from investigators right now?
Well, I've been following the cases closely as they've gone through the courts, and we know that there are more indictments possibly coming. I think that number might go up to 73 is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Can you shed any light on why the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Now, obviously, whatever the ethnic group, the actions of a few dozen should not impugn an entire community of thousands of people.
Now, listen to this.
Okay, I want to make
it's
that
coming
very
up.
clear.
This is amazing.
President Trump has used this fraud to make rather, to me, shockingly bigoted comments about Somalis in general, including you, but the entire Somali community in Minnesota. He did it yesterday and he did it again today. Let's run some of that.
Now, listen to this.
These Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. She should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota. She should not be, and her friends shouldn't be allowed. Frankly, they shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople, okay? They shouldn't even be allowed to be congresspeople because they don't represent the interests of our country.
It's pretty shocking to hear it, although I don't know how shocked you are at this point anymore. But Somali immigrants in general, you in particular, have been the target of his attacks for a long time. What's your response?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked because we know that the president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric when he is trying to scapegoat and deflect from the actual failures that he has himself. We know that this administration has not fulfilled the majority of the promises that they've made, whether it is bringing costs down, whether it is the tariffs that are decimating businesses in the United States, whether it is the possible war crimes that his defense secretary is committing. And so to me, it is important for us, one, to remind folks that we are Americans. We're not going anywhere, and we will continue to be in this country. And two, that Minnesotans are resilient, and we will continue to thrive.
Wow, okay, wow. Notice she didn't make any comment about her immigration status. Not one. Pretty interesting. I mean, if everything's on the up and up, your response would be, that is so absurd. I came here from, and this and that. What's he talking about? I went through the process and none of that. She didn't even comment on that. And she gave a lot of vague generalities about a lot of things, a bunch of platitudes that have nothing to do with what the president said. And this is not the Ilhan Omar we're used to. Her body language is different. She looks terrified. The arrogance is gone. She's scared. I don't know if she's scared because of the $1 billion theft. I don't know if she's worried about her immigration status. I don't know. But this is not the Ilhan Omar we're accustomed to, is it? This is a completely different thing. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. We're late for the break. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hey, Brian Craig here. You hear me talk with attorney Barry Siegel every day about how we can help you and your family. Now here's one of our listeners, Frances, sharing her experience of how attorney Barry Siegel made a difference in her life and took a weight off her shoulders.
I was really looking for something to help me secure my holdings, which is actually not a whole bunch of bank account, savings, and a house and a car for my two daughters. I was worried that if I had just a regular will, things would get tied up in probate, and that would take 2 years. So I heard on the radio about Barry Siegel, the attorney. I gave them a call, and immediately they were so kind. They were so nice. They assured me that they could help. I went over there, and they sat with me, and we went over everything. And I ended up with this wonderful trust for my two daughters. So if something does happen to me, things just turn over to them, and it'll make it so much easier for them. And it took a great load off of my mind as to how I would take care of my two daughters. I was very pleased with the attorney Barry Siegel. Finding him helped me assure that my two daughters will be well taken care of in the event that I won't be here.
Give attorney Barry Siegel a call right now. Toll free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code CANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code CANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code CANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping. Whether you're a maker, an event planner, or small business owner, your creativity deserves the perfect design. At digitalartistrymm.etsy.com, you'll find beautifully crafted printable templates and scalable vector graphics and SVG cut files that are made to bring your vision to life. digitalartistrymm.etsy.com have everything you're looking for, from elegant wedding suites and stationery to Canva invites you can edit yourself, as well as planners, even resume templates. Everything is designed to be customized in just minutes. When you visit the shop, make sure to explore their brand new A to Z floral split monogram bundle and the updated undated planner packs. They're perfect for staying stylish and organized all year long. Every purchase includes a free one-time minor edit, plus extended commercial licenses and custom orders for your business needs. Discover the art of easy designs at digitalartistrymm.etsy.com, where creativity meets convenience. Download, design, and make something beautiful at digitalartistrymm.etsy.com.
All right, we'll be back in less than a minute. We're still in a radio station break, but there's a major panic going on. There really is, but we'll get to it when we get back. I'm so behind schedule here. Okay, we are back. You know, these the left and the media, the Democrats, they're pulling out all the old tricks, which we'll get into some more detail on. If you're on hold, stand by. I've got so much to cover. I'm getting behind. But I want to talk about coastal weight loss secret. I've got my first Christmas parties this week, and I've already lost all the weight. I look great, man. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And, remember, I lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. You have time to lose the weight before your holiday parties, your Christmas events, your family get-togethers, your New Year's party. Call Coastal Weight Loss and set up your no-charge consultation. Remember, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you no matter where you're located in the United States. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. So I was telling you before the break, and this is a very important thing because President Trump is going places that have never been gone before by anyone, Republicans either. Not anybody of significance with power and influence. And that is this fatigue over, we're not, we don't hate Muslims, we're not racist, we're not, all these cards of isms that they throw at people. People are tired of it. He's tired of it. He's standing up to them. And not just the deportations and the drug war. This thing in Minnesota, you got to understand something. There's no way that crooked mayor and that crooked governor are not involved in this. You don't steal $1 billion and none of these people know about it. It's impossible. All right? It's impossible. So, exactly. And there's a panic. And part of the panic is that Minnesota with the Somalians, this is not the only community that's controlled by Democrats that has these rackets going on. I imagine the blue states and the blue cities around America are all over this, and the crackdown is big. My daughter was over yesterday, because again, it was my wife and I, it was our anniversary. Our daughter stopped by. And she was telling me she was talking to a friend of hers in Los Angeles. Remember, my daughter just moved back from Los Angeles. Her friend's neighbor, the whole house got raided by ICE. Isn't that crazy? My daughter's friends, not my daughter's friend, the neighbor. They got home and ICE was surrounding the house next door. And they picked up the entire family out in Los Angeles. And, the entire Democrat Party around this country has been setting up what's going on in Minnesota with Somalia all over the country in different ways. Whether it's the illegal immigrants in Southern California or the ones that may be legal in Minnesota or in Springfield, Ohio, the Democrats have all these financial rackets going on. And, this financial scandal with Governor Walz in Minnesota, this just didn't happen. This has been going on for the entire time he's been in politics there. And certainly the Democrat Party, the DNC, knew all about it when they picked him to be Kamala Harris's running mate. In fact, that may be one of the reasons they picked this guy that none of us have ever heard of. Because they figured if the Democrats stayed in power, he could oversee the corruption around the country, I guess. There's no way they did not know about this when Walz was chosen to be the running mate of Kamala. It probably was a resume enhancer for them. And when these, if you notice with the Somalian financial crimes of Minnesota, they're not even contesting them. Even Ilhan Omar is talking about over almost 80 people being indicted. They're criticizing Trump for talking about it. So they're acknowledging these crimes. Listen to this. This is Nicole Wallace with Alex Wagner on MS Now yesterday, and they're trying to get the race card going on.
Alex, the reality of this is that it doesn't get the coverage that it deserves because of the expanse of it, right? We can focus in and try to tell one story of the terror. There's a 6-year-old child that is right now lost, separated and lost. Child separation was such a scandal that it's actually, I think, the only policy that Donald Trump himself reversed himself on in a first term.
Yeah.
They're doing that in such a scale across the country from coast to coast, targeting so many communities, sweeping up American citizens. Very few of the people being rounded up are actually guilty of any crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some, and that's where the public support is, but the vast majority of people they're deporting have committed the civil offense of being here illegally, and some of them not even.
Yeah, but that is still illegal. They're still a criminal.
Yeah, some of them are American citizens. I think what's...
Who are these American citizens that have been deported, by the way? I keep hearing them say it, but I don't see any of these American citizens and their families on television talking about it.
It's really important to contextualize this in the big picture, which is the White House is embracing ethnic cleansing. I mean, that is what is happening here.
Hear that? Ethnic cleansing. Oh, my goodness. I told my daughter to take her passport with her. She's going to go to Los Angeles soon to visit over the holidays. I told her to take her passport. I said, keep your passport on you, Emily. Now we're into ethnic cleansing. No, we're apprehending criminals, but they're calling it ethnic cleansing, which is what the Nazis did, of course.
I think what's really important to contextualize this in the big picture, which is the White House is embracing ethnic cleansing. I mean, that is what is happening here. This is Make America White Again. And
oh, my goodness. This is nuts. I mean, they're deporting mostly illegals that are not white because that's where they're coming from. There are white illegals that have been deported, or people that have violated their status that are being deported. But the major immigration is people that are non-white, but, you know, the race card again. Remember I told you the race fatigue that President Trump is standing up for. People are tired of this.
The White House is embracing ethnic cleansing. I mean, that is what is happening here. This is Make America White Again. And it's sort of by any means necessary. It's under the auspices of immigration reform and getting the garbage out. But it's really about targeting black and brown people and allowing white Afrikaners into the country. I mean, those are the priorities of this administration.
Well, the South Africans are being terrorized and murdered, and those are real refugees. Okay, those are real refugees. They're not climate refugees or whatever other fake thing they have going on. Those people are actually being murdered in their homes, right? All right. I'm so behind on the schedule. My apologies, guys. We're going to take our last break of the 7 o'clock hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this. I took one break late, and then we're.
Hello?
Hey, it's Brian. Hey there. I'm gonna put you on hold. We're gonna be live in a little over a minute. Okay?
Okay.
I'll go to you shortly. Hold on. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the line, we have Jamie Levack from Swift Tax, who's just joining us on the program today for the first time. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How's everybody out there?
Oh, everyone's doing well, and, you're an accountant. It's not a coincidence we have you on now because, with the big, beautiful bill, the entire tax code has changed, and there's not a single person out there who does not need an accountant, right?
No, of course. I mean, with all the new updates in the tax code, if your accountant is not well versed in the difference between this upcoming year and the year before, you're not going to reap the benefits.
Yeah. There's so many differences. You and I were talking off the air, and this is really an amazing thing. With the big, beautiful bill, there's been a lot of changes for retirees that are receiving Social Security benefits. And not only that, for seniors that are receiving Social Security, but also working. And these are people who may have never had an accountant or not had one for a long time. They really need to give you a call right now. There's been some big changes for Social Security recipients, right?
No, yes, of course. I mean, I live in Florida, and as you know, it's a retirement state, so a lot of people are living on a fixed income. Before, if you were still working and collecting Social Security and you were to move up into a new tax bracket based on your total income, you would be paying more taxes. It almost is like you'd be penalized for going to work.
Yeah, I know. I've known guys that are retired, and they would have to be careful on when they were working how much they worked because they were afraid that it would cost them with their benefits or cost them with the taxes, and it's really hectic. But senior citizens, if you're receiving Social Security, even if you're not working and receiving Social Security, you need to call Jamie Levack from Swift Tax because there's major changes to taxes. Also, I get calls sometimes from people that are tip workers, and now we've got the no tax on tips, which applies not just to bartenders and waiters and waitresses. I mean, there's, people get tips that are Uber and Lyft drivers too, and they have no idea on how to navigate that. So, people that are tip workers, if they want to make sure they're not paying tax on that tip income, you can help them with that too, right?
No, of course, and that's a big majority of people down here. I mean, we're in a tourist state. I do taxes for people who work at nice restaurants, and they do make good money. And a number one problem that I see is, in the past, they would use something like H&R Block, TurboTax, and people who work and live off of tips end up paying a lot of money back in taxes. And it's always a big surprise to them. And I tell people, if you're in a career industry of hospitality and plan on, getting paid on tips in the future, you should definitely have an accountant. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, nothing I was talking to you about is there's someone I know who we'll be talking about this with them soon, but there's someone I know that has an accountant they've been unhappy with them for years. When they first met them, they did all right by them, and they've been with them for years, and they're paying too much in taxes now. And I think that's true with a lot of people, that they're unhappy with their accountant. And Jamie Levac with Swift Tax here, you actually spend the time with your clients to make sure that they're not paying any taxes that they don't have to pay.
No, 100%. When you come to me, it's more of a concierge service. From the first day we talk, we assess exactly how we can save you money. And if we can't save you money, which almost never happens, we at least make the process swift, smooth, and painless.
Yeah. And let me tell you guys, you want to call Jamie, you want to call him today, all right? So you can start getting everything you need together. He'll help you do that before the tax due dates, okay? You call now, and he'll tell you exactly what you need. Oh, by the way, a lot of people are 1099 workers, A lot of people that work in the gig economy. We're talking about Uber and Lyft drivers, Uber Eats, people like that, independent contractors. You work with a lot of people that have those types of professions, and you can save them a lot of money too, right?
Oh, yeah. And the thing is a lot of people that get into Uber or food delivery, and you'd be surprised, some of them make very good middle-class money.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is that Uber doesn't really guide you in a direction of what to do once you start making good money. They give you a 1099 and they tell you to just go about your day. And that specifically, a lot of the times people don't look at their Uber or food delivery as a small business. But in the eyes of the IRS, you are a small business.
That's right.
And you should definitely strategize on ways to save money and take advantage of the tax code based on being a small business.
I mean, you very well may be paying taxes when you could be getting a refund. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So listen, call Jamie Levac. And by the way, if you're like my friend who you'll be hearing from, that's unhappy with their accountant, Jamie Levac can help you there too. A lot of times, people don't like to break up with their accountant, even though it's costing them money. Give Jamie Levac a call, save some money, maybe get a refund. A lot of people, I know that's crazy. You mentioned H&R Block or TurboTax. To me, that's crazy. You need to sit down with someone who, like Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, gives you one-on-one concierge accounting service, regardless of what your income is. Now, I'm going to give your phone number, Jamie. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac, okay? So give him a call, and if he's on the phone, you can leave a message. He'll call you back. Make sure you leave your name and number. And also, you can help people throughout the United States, Jamie. Can you talk about that?
Oh, yes.
No matter what state people are in.
So every state, even outside of the country, can be helped from my location here in Oakland Park. So don't hesitate. If you're in Hawaii and you have a hyper-specific tax problem that you think is state-related, don't you worry. I can help you from here.
Yeah, so no matter what state you are in, give Jamie a call. He's located right here in Broward County, 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. All right, Jamie, we'll talk soon.
Thank you again, Brian.
All right, take care. Guys, give him a call. He just joined us first time today, new sponsor to the program, and, of course, timed with all these great tax savings we're getting from the, all these people, calling me. Well, I got a call the other day from somebody who was a waitress. I don't know if it might have been on my podcast. Can't remember. They called me the other day, and they're like, well, I'm not getting the tax break. You don't know how. You need to call Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. You need an account and get it done, all right? Okay, so just to sum up, and then after the top of the hour, I'm going to recap a little bit and bring up some of the new topics. But this is such an amazing time. You don't realize you're living through history when you're living through it. What President Trump is doing, with everything he is doing, is so historic in nature. You know, do you know how many lives President Trump saved yesterday with the changes on emission standards? Oh, my goodness. You know, when a lot of us were kids, we didn't wear seatbelts. We didn't even have shoulder belts. I remember when the front seat, I'm old enough to remember, barely, but I can remember, when in the front seat, you just had a lap belt, right? We didn't wear seatbelts. And people may say, well, that's crazy and everything else. Yeah, I mean, I always wear a seatbelt now. It's the law. But back then, you were safer than you are in cars today. And when President Trump tossed out these emission standards yesterday, which is about time, he was talking a little bit, the president yesterday, the Democrats put these emission standards, it started hardcore with Obama, it continued with Biden. They put these emission standards on the auto manufacturers that were impossible to achieve, but they had to show progress towards this goal every year. So what they started doing was stripping the cars down. See, when I was a kid and we didn't wear seat belts, or we didn't even have shoulder belts, we just had waist belts in the front seat. Now you got the whole belt in the back seats. The cars were made of steel. But to meet the standards, what the auto manufacturers have been doing is lightening the load of the vehicles by making them out of plastic, which take away your protection. So many people in this country have died in car accidents that they would have survived if they were in the old cars because of these climate change, virtue signaling emission standards that made cars out of plastic the normal thing. And now that that's gone, he saved lives with that just yesterday. And I know that announcement, a lot of people don't think it's a big deal, right? You know, when that announcement came out, people kind of moved on from it and they were starting to, asking questions about other things. But countless lives, thousands, maybe even millions of lives were saved by that yesterday because cars are now going to start to be made that protect you on impact, right? As opposed to a car made of plastic or fiberglass. You ever see a vet in a car accident? It's like shattered into pieces all over the place out of fiberglass. You ever see a boat accident? That's how they make cars. You don't want that. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember some really old cars that didn't even have seatbelts in them. But those were old cars even for me. There were not new cars without seatbelts in mine. I'm not that old. All right, the 8 o'clock hour is about to begin. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening, 888-465-2631. I cannot believe it is Thursday already. Thanksgiving was a week ago. This week has flown by like nobody's business. And this has been the busiest news December I remember. The news typically takes off from Thanksgiving on, and it's been every day. We've had 2 news cycles, sometimes even 3, each and every day of the week, even during this holiday period. All right, we'll take our break for the top of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X. And view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel. This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you they're making it through the year. They want to thank you for your continued support by passing on some Christmas specials to our listeners. Get the Children's Bible Story Pillow, the 5-pack, for just $29.98. Get the My Slippers with a free bottle of leather protectant spray for $39.98. Blankets, comforters, and duvets for as low as $25. And a blowout sale on the standard MyPillows for just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call 1-800-716-4879 and use the promo code KANE to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including the standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now just $14.98. Queens, $18.99. Kings, only $1 more. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty, but MyPillow has just announced they're extending their 60-day money-back guarantee. That's right. Orders placed between now and December 25th will have their 60-day money-back guarantee extended through March 1st, 2026. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE for huge savings on your Christmas shopping.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank, what's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. All right, we got about a minute till we're back on the radio. Oh, man, I'm so far behind. I'm in trouble. All right, the 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. The rest of you on hold, stand by. I want to go this, this drug boat story. It's so amazing to me what goes on with the fake news media cycle. This story is falling apart for them every minute of every day. This is yesterday, I don't know, around 4 o'clock or so from the White House.
Mr. President, if a boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the initial
No, I
strike?
support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country.
Yeah, in fact, President Trump, he said in that press conference, 91% of the drug transportation by boat has stopped. Think about that. They've already shut down about over 90% of it in just, what, a couple of short weeks. Isn't that something? All right, let's try the phones again. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale.
All right, Fort Lauderdale. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is the safety factor of cars. Granted, today they're made out of plastic, but your chances of surviving in a car today are 100 times better than they ever were, even in the 50s or the 60s.
Mm.
Because the simple fact is, when people crash and they go through the windshield, the funny thing happens is they come back through and get torn to shreds. I've seen cars from the old days kill people inside the car, but the car was still fine. Now you talk about today's cars, they'll get completely destroyed. They got crumple zones.
Yeah.
The motor doesn't end up in your lap. It goes in.
No,
stays where it's at.
by the way, you've got such an odd way of speaking. I mean, you're almost like in a, I don't know what your accent is. It's really strange. I remember when I was a kid, and this is before global warming and all this stuff had been invented. So this was like 1983-ish, okay? I saw a woman was in a car with her kids. She had 4 or 5 kids with her. This was like 83. Chances are they weren't wearing seatbelts in 83. They were in a, I can't remember the exact car because I was a kid, but it was like a Ford Bronco type car. You know what I mean? Like a Blazer.
Yeah.
She drove, she was on a 2-lane highway. She drove and had a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler. Her and her kids survived, okay? And everybody was amazed at the time. Cars then were made with more steel than plastic. And you get into an accident in one of these cars, the car falls apart and turns to shreds because they're made of garbage now. And it's to lighten the load to meet the ridiculous emission standards.
Well, I have driven cars from I go back a lot further than you do, about 20 years or so.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is, when I was a kid, I've seen so many strange accidents through the years. I saw a woman riding with her baby on her lap.
Yeah.
And she had a bump. No big deal.
Well, people wear seatbelts now. We didn't wear seatbelts. They didn't even have car seats in those days, right? So, there's different. What I'm talking about are collisions. You're more likely to die in a collision than you were 40 years ago. The cars were just stronger.
Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but I have seen so many accidents where people were dead and the cars were salvageable, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is...
Because they didn't have a seatbelt on.
I've seen people go out of the car, completely destroy the car, and yet they walk out of the car. They get up, they walk out.
Okay, all right, okay. Appreciate the call, round and round. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mr. Craig, I'd called you Saturday morning and told you about the Pete Hegseth deal with the boat and the 2 guys getting on alive. I was wondering if maybe you might want to know some more information about that.
I don't really remember you have to give me some more information. I don't really remember the conversation. Just remind me what the story was, because I just don't remember.
Well, I'd called and told you that they had unalived them 2 guys 8 hours prior to the news media getting a hold of them. And I was wondering.
Oh, you're talking about the guys you're talking about the guys on the drug boat?
Absolutely.
Okay, they killed them when? What's the story? What's your story?
I told you that early Saturday morning. I told you about Pete Hegseth and them going after him because he'd unalived them guys, but you cut me off before I could finish telling you about him unaliving them.
Well, you're here now, so I don't remember the call. I'm sorry.
Well, that's quite all right, Brian. I mean, I watch and listen to your show quite
Well,
often.
I talk to a lot of people, so I can't remember every conversation. So.
Yeah, I absolutely understand, sir. I know you're a busy man. Actually, I fear for you for what you're doing. I fear that maybe you might put yourself in jeopardy here.
Oh, yeah. I hope not. All right. So, what do you have to add other than you called me on Saturday? What do you have to contribute?
Well, I'm watching where they're headed with this right now. They're after the Pentagon. They're saying that Pete Hegseth is releasing early information that he has only privy to himself.
Well, what's going on? Laura Loomer's been doing a lot of reporting, okay, on this for the last few days, and with Laura, she said there's a coup going on at the Pentagon. That the Army Secretary Driscoll, they're trying to get Trump to fire Pete Hegseth and replace him with Driscoll, who's the Secretary of the Army. Now, I don't know what has possessed them to think that President Trump is going to get rid of Pete Hegseth. President Trump isn't going to get rid of anyone in this cabinet. And Pete Hegseth, he loves Pete Hegseth. He was sitting right next to him in the cabinet meeting this week, but that's what this story that we're getting about the drug boat and all these things. It's all they've got these never Trumpers, these deep staters have in their mind that they're going to get Trump to get rid of Pete Hegseth and then plug in like Driscoll, who I guess works with them or for them.
Well, they're backpedaling now. He's going back to some close personal friends and giving them military information prior to them it being released to the public. Now they're saying they're backpedaling to their initial story. He's releasing personal information to his friends.
Okay, they're always going to that, I guess, but okay. All right, I appreciate the call. Now I know why I got rid of him when he called me on Saturday's show, because I really don't know what he's saying. Do you guys? I don't either. If you're on hold, hang in there. Are you risking your retirement? You don't have to. Call Joe Thomas. Talk to him about annuities. Annuities are absolutely amazing. Not only is your money not at risk, no matter what happens in the stock market, your savings, your nest egg is always safe, but you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. And there's so many different types of annuities that do different things. When you call him, and take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Joe Thomas, he'll go over all the different options for you and put together a custom proposal, custom to you and your situation. But there's a couple that are kind of my favorite, okay? There's a couple of annuities where you get a bonus, 10%, even more on your money on day one. So before you even leave Joe Thomas's office or before the Zoom call or phone call ends, you've already made 10 even more % on your money. That's pretty amazing. Ask him about that. One of the ones I also like is the income doubler with a health issue with you or your spouse. You know, when you become older, when you become a senior, when you're retired, you start having all kinds of health problems, even when you lived a life of perfect health. And there's one annuity that doubles your monthly income when you have a health issue. There's so many different types of annuities. Give Joe Thomas a call, no matter where you're located. Take advantage of the no-charge consultation, which you can do in his office or over the phone or through Zoom. Turn your money into guaranteed income for life. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, if you record your name. Hi, if you.
This is George Colony. Sorry I missed your... This is George Colony.
All right, we are back. Oh boy, I've got all kinds of issues going on. You guys got to bear with me. I'm okay. All right, we are back. Callers on hold. Stand by. It's the Steve Cage Show. I'm Brian Craig. You guys have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. It's very chaotic behind the scenes. It may not seem that way, but sometimes it is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Oh, hey, Greg.
Greg, let me ask you this question. You're hyperbole. You are the king of hyperbole. I give you credit for that. That's what makes your show enjoyable. Plus the callers, obviously, which are.
Hold on 1 second before we get to your big. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this question. Do you drive like a Mini Cooper?
I talk about this all the time. My wife and I, one of our cars is a Mini Cooper, yeah.
Yeah, do you think that's a safe vehicle?
Not only is it safe, the reason I have it is because it is. About when.
Wait.
No, I'm going to tell you. About 20 years ago, when Mini Coopers had their big comeback, right? I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, however long ago that was. I think it was about 20 years ago. My wife and I had a Mini Cooper then. And I talked about this at the time. I've referenced it from time to time over the years. I was on I-95 just south of the Glades.
How long ago was it? Wait. I want to make sure. How long was it ago?
I said it 3 times, 20? about 20 years ago. Listen.
All right, 20 years ago, Mini Coopers were in existence in America.
No, that's not true. When they first had their comeback.
Oh, you don't even know. You just said 15 or 20. Then I asked you 20, and you go, wait.
It was about that long ago. Yeah, it was about that long ago.
20 years ago.
I can't answer any. Excuse me. I can't answer any of your ridiculous questions if you don't shut up, Greg.
Because you're lying again.
I'm not lying. This all happened on the radio. When Mini Coopers, hold on, I got to answer the other lines. When Mini Coopers had their big comeback, which was 15 or 20 years ago, my daughter was in first or second grade.
20?
I don't remember. I don't remember,
you don't remember,
officer.
Are you suffering from dementia? You can't
no,
remember?
But this was a long time ago. But let me finish my thought, or I'm going to hang up on you.
How old was your daughter?
If you would stop talking and listening, you would get all these answers, okay? So about 15, 20 years ago, when Mini Coopers had their comeback in the United States, my wife and I had one when they first came out. I was on I-95 just south of the Glades Road on-ramp. Okay, it was in the afternoon. It was bumper-to-bumper traffic. I was stopped still. A girl hit me going about 75 miles an hour on my driver's door. I was sitting still in the Mini Cooper. I talked about this on the radio at the time. The airbags deployed. The car was totaled on the outside, but other than the airbags being deployed, the inside of the vehicle looked like the day I drove it off the showroom. That car saved my life. Because it's made of steel and it had
what kind of car were you hit?
It was a Mini Cooper. A Mini Cooper.
What kind of car were you?
I don't remember. It was a big car though. I don't remember.
Okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. No questions, Greg. No questions, Greg. You're on hold. Okay. I mean, this guy's out of control. So she hit me. I'm in the Mini Cooper.
Wait,
She
let
hit
me ask you a question.
No.
Did you file a lawsuit against the person?
No, I'm not. I'm answering the first part of the question, and I'm not going to go through a whole list of questions. So
No, because you know what? The story is bogus.
It's
Why
not.
don't
I
you
was on the
file-
I was on the radio at the time and talked about it. Okay, it was not. No, it wasn't. I talked about it at the time. It happened while I was on the radio. She hit me in the driver's door going about 75 miles an hour. I didn't have a scratch on me.
Okay.
Okay.
According to who? This is documented on a police report.
Of 15, 20 years ago, I guess. Why, you going to go through
Yes.
the...
Well, let me ask you a question. Why didn't you file suit, get a personal injury attorney, and file suit against the person that hit you from 75 miles per hour?
I don't know what that has to do with the price of tea in China.
Because
so
the
anyway...
story is, because you know what? Know what it has to do with?
What?
Your credibility. Once again,
Everybody that was listening back then knows about it. I talked about it on the air at the time when it happened, and I remember when they came and asked me how old I was, I couldn't remember my age. But it was 15, 20 years ago.
Neither of you were injured.
She wasn't injured at all.
Not at all. Not those pains you say that have been.
I was in.
cured over years.
That was not the same car accident. Thank you very much. It was another car accident where I had the knee injury. My friend John was driving then, and he wrecked.
Bad luck. You had bad luck. You better stop. And by the way,
you're now.
about-
I'm going to let him go. He is really having a conniption fit. He is really having a strange, almost like a seizure, Greg, on the air. I mean, what the heck? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Johnny, Toronto.
Yeah, Johnny, what's on your mind?
I first want to talk about Trump and why you defend it.
Why am I defending what?
Trump.
I'm not defending Trump.
Oh, I see the hat.
Trump needs no defense. What would I be defending Trump from?
I just see the hat, and so I figured that you were a big supporter of it.
I am a supporter of Trump, but I'm not defending him. He needs no defense. He's committed no crime.
Well, first of all, some legal system would say he's what's it called? He's been indicted or something like that.
He's under indictment. What legal system has him under indictment?
Your system, your country.
What country are you in?
Toronto, Canada.
Oh.
Well, I'm there now, but I travel back and forth.
You're a Canadian.
I'm an American. I'm a citizen of both. Originally, I was born in America.
You said your country. You said your country, and you're in Canada.
Yeah, you know what?
You said your country and your system. So you're not one of us. Now you're one of us.
Well,
listen. This is one of the greatest endorsements that President Trump has received. We don't want Canadians approving of our president. You've been ripping us off for 200 years.
Canadians have been.
Yeah. You've been charging us over 200% tariffs on products. You haven't been paying your dues for the North American Defense Pact that we have with you. We've been paying for your defense, paying for your health care.
Defense of what? Who's attacking us?
Well, no one. But if they did, we would be there.
Right.
The United States and Canada have a North American military alliance to protect North America, and you haven't been paying your part of it for decades.
We're not attacked by anyone. Don't worry about defending us. Who do we have to defend ourselves from? We're in support of you guys. We're your little brothers.
You're supporting us?
Your little brother. We're not.
You're supporting us?
We're not using your money.
Sure you are.
But you know who
You're 80. Listen, 80% of Canadians live within 150 miles of the U.S. southern border.
That's exactly right.
So you guys are on our coattails.
Yeah, but
the reason no one's attacking Canada is because Big Daddy, the United States, is here. If it wasn't for the United States, your country would be attacked.
By who?
Oh, by anybody around the world. I mean, you're a defenseless country.
So who's here to attack us?
No one is attacking you because Big Brother, the United States, is here. No one's attacking because of the United States.
But you still not have a country or a group of people or anything like that who's wanting to attack us?
Oh, the whole world, Russia would have taken you decades ago if it wasn't for the United States.
You said who would have taken over?
Russia.
Or who would have,
Russia would have taken you decades ago if the United States didn't exist. You can't protect yourself.
We don't need protection. That's my point.
Because we're here. You are getting protection from the United States.
We don't need your protection. You're not spending money on any protection.
Yes, we are.
You need an attack.
Yes, we are. We're defending your whole country.
If there's no attack, then there's no defense.
There's no attack because of us. There's no attack because of the United States.
Sorry, say it again?
There's no attack on Canada because of the United States.
Okay, if the United States wasn't there, who would attack?
Oh, Russia would have taken. Russia would take it. Yeah, they would take it. Russia, maybe France would come back. Who knows? Mexico.
You seem to really live in a medieval mindset. Mexico, France.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got to run for a commercial break, but thanks for the call. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. One of these numbers, I don't know which one it is George Colony. So we're going to find out. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from
Oh, hey, JJ. Hold on. Is this George Colony?
No, this is Sean Edwards.
Oh, Sean, you hold on. Okay, we'll take our break, and I'll call George Colony during the break, all right? Oh, my goodness. I told you, it's chaotic here. We'll be right back.
Hi. If you record...
Yeah. Hey, it's Brian. Yeah, when I call you from my on-air line, it goes straight to the voicemail. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're in our bottom of the hour break. I can get you on. I can call you during the break, and we can talk coming out of the break. If it'll. Okay, I'm gonna call you in about 1 minute. Oh, but I gotta call you from the other line. Okay, take care. Okay. We're going to be 30, a couple minutes.
Hi. If you record your... Hi. If you record your name...
I can't get through to him for some reason.
Hi. If you record.
I can't get through to him to do the... Oh, coming back. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Callers on hold. Stand by. I want to talk about Life Imaging FLA. You know, I got a call from a listener earlier this week, and he went over to Life Imaging FLA, and they found something with his heart. He took the results to his doctor, and his doctor was able to prescribe a medication for him to help him with his heart issue. That's amazing. And he didn't, confidentiality, he didn't tell me exactly what it was, his issue was, but he's all better now. And he found out he had a heart issue that he didn't know that he had until he went to Life Imaging FLA. Isn't that amazing? That is just a beautiful thing. And, here we are. It's Thursday, December 4th. It's holiday time. Did you know that holiday time's the deadliest time of the year for heart attacks? According to the American Heart Association, more people die from heart attacks during the last week of December than any other time of the year, with Christmas Day and New Year's Day being the most dangerous. The stress, the food, the alcohol, cold weather all contribute to this. And Life Imaging FLA is offering free heart scans with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. Make sure when you're over there you ask about their full body cancer screening for the ultimate peace of mind. It's all about proactive health at Life Imaging FLA. And to our listener that found out he had a heart issue, it made me feel so. I'm so glad he called me and told me that. That is just amazing. We may have saved his life. Call Life Imaging FLA. They have locations in Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. From your cell phone, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250, say free heart scan. Pound 250, say free heart scan. You will be connected in seconds. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, brother, this is Sean. I'm calling from Washington State.
What's your name?
What's up? Turn off the volume in the background.
Sorry, yeah, I turned it off. My bad. Hey, man, I've been listening to your show for about 2 weeks now, and I really say I love what you're saying. I'm listening, and I support what you're saying. And you're right. There's no need to defend someone that's not guilty of anything. And God bless America. Don't worry about the haters. Some of them, a lot of them, they're just trying to get a rise out of you. This is a good show. I like what you're saying. Keep preaching the truth, brother.
All right. Appreciate it. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. What's up?
Well, it's a crazy day today. Been watching a little crazy with some of the...
Are you watching online behind the scenes? If you watch on YouTube, you get the behind the scenes?
Yes. Yeah, you get to see how the
chaos,
how the sausage, the meatloaf, the chaos.
You don't want to know how they make lunch meat. You don't want to know.
No. Anyway, that crazy. It just kind of like it's kind of reminds me of Greg Two's call. It's sort of like a bad inquisition.
Greg Two sounded crazed.
It was. He was. He was like. I don't know. It was like he was starving and he had to eat something. And he was trying to. I don't know. He was chasing.
That car accident.
It just seemed a little crazy.
Let me tell you, that Mini Cooper saved my life. When I got in that car accident, it was slow motion when that car was coming towards me, and I prayed. I thought I was dead. I said, Jesus, I'm coming. And that's it. I said my goodbyes. It was in slow motion. And I survived it because that Mini Cooper didn't have those ridiculous cafe standards of have doors made out of plastic.
Yeah. I was waiting for Greg to ask you if you remember what the relative humidity, the temperature was, how much air pressure you had in the tire. It just seemed like he was getting a little insane there.
It was insane, especially something not only did I talk about it at the time, I've referenced it from time to time over the years.
And if he would have just listened, I mean, trying to get him to sit still, he was like, a kid that needed to go to the bathroom or something. But he reminded me a little bit. I mean, as far as crazy goes, you got this ethnic cleansing lady on MSDWI. She was insane. I couldn't believe that she
well,
was
let me tell you what's going on here. Alex Wagner is biracial. She's Asian and black. And she was on MSNBC years ago. They fired her and they brought her back a while back. I was talking about earlier, there's been a trend on TikTok called black fatigue, where people are just tired of being called a racist every time they disagree with someone who's black. This fatigue is on everything, right? Calling us, they throw out, you hate immigrants, you hate Muslims, you hate black, you hate this, you hate that. And President Trump's like, enough of this. And they sound, people aren't, they've been intimidating people in this country with all these different ethnic race cards and, transphobic and all this crap for so long. And people are tired of it. And it's over.
Yeah.
The party's over.
Yep. Absolutely. The fatigue thing, it's just, I'm not phobic. I'm I guess, dumbophobic. I'm not scared of dumb people. They just drive me crazy. These people about the boat. I mean, look, the UN in New York City is like the HQ for, white collar political sort of legalized crime. All the money laundering and crap that goes on at the UN. And that's in New York City. Venezuela is like the UN headquarters for the world, crime, blue-collar crime, the anti-USA, the drugs, the chaos crime, the social chaos, political, economic chaos, just all the death. And Trump, the thing that drove me crazy, and I actually screamed at the TV. Of course, I'm by myself. Nobody was here, but the dog looked at me like I was touched. But I was just so pissed about all the millions of people that have died from drugs that have been allowed to come in. And I think back to Ronald Reagan and Nancy and the war on just say no. And Ronald Reagan meant well 100%, and so did Nancy. But it was just what we needed was we need a firm hand. We need to have an actual war. We need these people to know that we can reach out and touch them. And as far as I'm concerned, those guys on that boat, it's almost like a World War II movie with a tank, where the tank is damaged, but a couple of the guys are running away, but a couple of them are trying to get up on top.
Listen, there's no doubt this mayor up there, and it came out that that Somalian city councilman that was calling Trump a racist the other day. His wife had one of these centers that was getting money to feed people that didn't feed people. It came out. Okay, yesterday. That mayor and that governor up there, they're dirty. They're dirty.
Birds of a feather.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather.
And Mike Lindell of My Pillow, he got the paperwork yesterday to run for governor against Tim Walz. I hope he does. So he'll be on every show everywhere talking about the corruption up there.
Yeah, Minnesota is sort of like, we've got New York City, Minnesota with the Somalians. I mean, Trump had talked about it, that they're just, I think he said something like, I don't know what percent were on, assistance or whatever. They don't do anything. I mean, he was quite frank about all that. But I just look at the, if the guys were getting back onto the boat, to me, it's just like we're at war with these people. It's not a figure, we're at war with them. They have killed millions of Americans over the years. And I'm not concerned about any, and I know that they're going to try to, just like they did with Hamas and Gaza, they're going to try to they're going to try to slip a fish
what I'd like to do?
And try to make it look bad.
President Trump said yesterday, 90 or 91% of the boats bringing drugs have been stopped now. They're not coming anymore. So he wants to know who that 9% of the ones that are getting through are. But he stopped 90% of the drugs being transported by boat. God only knows what's been shut down at the border, and they're attacking him for it. It's crazy. Now, so far as there was I cannot remember who this was, but there was a radio guy that I worked with at a radio station a long time ago, and he was an old time radio guy from like the 60s. and he was on the radio. So this was like in the 90s. He was really old. He was probably my age. Okay. I thought he was old, but I was a kid at the time. And he had his 8x10 publicity shot from the radio station. It was him in the radio studio with all these different phone receivers up to different parts of his body. Like it was chaotic. And I thought it was so stupid at the time. But if you're watching on YouTube during the last 30 minutes, that's what's been going on with me in the studio here. It's been one of the most chaotic mornings I've ever experienced.
You're running around back there. You're running around like back there. I just was waiting for the the cat. I love to hear the cats in the background. It's like Wild Kingdom. I hear the cats.
I don't mind. It goes by quick, but there's so much that goes on. I mean, people have no idea.
Well, the cats could become famous. I mean, there was a weatherman on the top of Mount Washington, and I haven't heard from Jeff from Maine for a while, but he would know who this guy was. His name was Marty Engstrom, and he talked with that Maine, with that draw, with that accent.
Yeah.
And he had cats. He would give the weather from the top of the mountain, here on the top of the mountain, and then the cats would walk right across the shot. And it became something that everybody, looked forward to.
Yeah.
So whenever I hear those cats, hearing cats and dogs and stuff just makes you feel good.
It's great. It's great. It's awesome. It's real, man.
Opposed to Greg
it's real.
too, and some of the other callers.
I'm really worried about Greg. That call from Greg was so unhinged.
Sounded desperate.
It was.
It sounded desperate.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, man. All right. You take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I've got my first holiday parties this week. Any of you got any scheduled later in the month? Lose that weight before your party. I've already lost the weight. Did you see Michelle Obama in this photo shoot that she did with her glam squad? Everyone's talking about how she's on Ozempic. She looks so sick. Coastal Weight Loss Secret is all natural. There's no shots. There's no pills, no injections or any of that. That's why I look so great. I'm thin. I lost over 35 pounds. I'm what I weighed 30 years ago. And the only reason people know is because I tell them all the time. But you don't want people saying, "Oh, you're on Ozempic, Michelle." You want to look good and natural, like I do. I look great. Coastal Weight Loss Secret, it works. I didn't starve myself. I ate foods I would normally eat. I didn't do any exercise. And that's why I've been in this maintain phase for many months, and I haven't gained an ounce. I thought for sure over Thanksgiving, because I was tearing up that pumpkin pie, man. I didn't get any weight over Thanksgiving either. But if I did, that's okay. I would just get back on Coastal Weight Loss Secret for a couple weeks. But I didn't gain anything over Thanksgiving. It's absolutely amazing. They can help you no matter where you are located. Give them a call and set up your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. I wasn't aware you guys could hear the cats that much. Do you guys hear the cats? I thought the cats were kind of on the down low a little bit. Oh my goodness. Very chaotic. It's very chaotic. When I'm here, because I'm by myself, if I'm at the radio station, I've got Mike there to help me. But when I'm here in my home studio, I got to do everything myself, and he's running the commercials and everything up at the radio station. But it's, the one benefit after COVID is that, people having cats and everything at home, it's no big deal. It used to be a big deal, right? Before everybody was working at home, to hear a dog or a cat in the background, people would freak out. But now it's no big deal. Okay.
Good morning.
Hey there, it's Brian. We got about a minute. I'm going to put you on hold, okay?
Okay.
Great, say bye. Oh, my goodness. Boy, oh boy. I need a rest. I'm exhausted. All right, and we're back. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals continue to look very stable, trading somewhat sideways to lower, but the markets are holding their gains for the most part that we saw last week and this week. So that being said, gold yesterday traded in a range of $4,193 on the low all the way up to $4,243. Closing out the day down $3.30 at $4,202.10. Silver was up 3 cents, closing out the day at $58.43. Platinum gained $33 yesterday, closing at $16.71, and palladium was down $1 at $14.46. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $4,175 on up to $4,218, and right now we're at $4,192, a little bit under that $4,200 number, down $10.10. Silver down $1.17 at $57.25. Platinum down $35 at $16.36, and palladium down $21 at $1,425. So the markets are doing well, actually holding most of their gains. These little differences, they seem large, but not in comparison to the price of the metal. So we've gotten used to big, what would seem years ago very large moves. These are not percentage-wise moves very much at all.
Yeah. Yesterday after we spoke at the end of the show, a lady called in. She had come into your shop with her husband with some gold and silver that I guess was left to them by their dad or something. And she was amazed at how much this silver was worth. She was blown away by it.
Yeah, we see that every day now.
Yeah.
The people coming in thinking they're going to get X number of dollars for their silver or their gold, and they end up getting twice what they were thinking they were going to get. Very good to see happy people like this all the time.
It is. It's amazing.
A real treat.
It's amazing. And William Youngerman, he does free appraisals, and if you have old jewelry that's broken, ugly, or maybe something that's in a safe deposit box or stuffed in a drawer somewhere, take it on over. Take advantage of that free appraisal and find out what it's worth. You could turn it into cash. Or one thing I know a lot of people do that's a pretty good, you could take that old broken jewelry and turn it into coins so that you still have the metal and you can monitor the value of it. You can do all these things. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. He's located in Boca Raton. His number's 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. He's on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can call him toll-free 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William, we'll finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, back to the phones on a very strange morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed out. Now, today I can't believe it's Thursday already. Tomorrow's Friday, which is open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday, meaning that any and everything on your mind's fair game on Friday's show. Today's been a weird day, and I was really troubled by that call from Greg 2. You know, Greg 2 is a longtime listener, and he's been listening long enough to have at least heard me talk about that car accident. He just didn't sound, you know, this is a tough time for a lot of people. It's holiday time. And you get into this time of year of the holidays, and a lot of people get kooky this time of year. That's just what it is. And I try to go a little easier on people like that, because the holidays, I can only imagine. You know, I've got a wife, a daughter, a family, my mother, you know, and friends. You know, and a lot of people don't have any of that. And it's got to be a tough time when you're that crowd that's sitting alone at the bar at Denny's on Christmas morning, or you're spending Thanksgiving alone and everything. And it causes people, I'm not talking about necessarily Greg, because I don't know his situation. I don't want to know his situation. But it brings out the kookiness in a lot of people in the listening audience. So those of you that are new to the program, the month of December is it's a rough time for people. So I do try to be a little more understanding to some of the lunatics that we hear from. But I wanted to end on what I consider to be the most important story of the day, and it's where I began. I want to end where I began. They're really trying to make something out of that narco-terrorist drug boat that they took the 2 shots at. And ABC News' Martha Raddatz reported the truth about it yesterday.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the 2 survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Okay, now that's today. And, you know, it's so, you know, Martha Raddatz is as Democrat liberal as it gets. She's not even embarrassed by it as a news person. You know, so now we're going to get to the truth. That's okay. They'll move on to another fake narrative. They go from fake narrative. It's like, you know, you hear me talk to some of these callers. They ask a ridiculous question. I answer it. Then they move on to the next ridiculous question. And that's how the fake news media are. They'll try to get another false narrative going. But they're going to, you know, the admiral's testifying today. The president said they're going to release the entire tape. Now we find out more information, a lot of information. One, they had a JAG officer who was giving them information and okayed the strike, that's very important, right? Because, you know, it's really strange that these military units have to have a lawyer with them, but they do, and they did, and they got the okay. We find out now that they weren't clinging on for dear life, that the boat survived the first attack. Might have been sinking, I don't know. We'll see when we get the video. But maybe it was a near miss. Maybe it just did some damage. We don't know. We'll see the full video soon. But that they weren't clinging on to life, that they were in the boat and they were calling for backup. And that the JAG lawyer's legal opinion was that it was okay, the second strike. So that's that. I'm sorry. You know, it's amazing to me. I didn't even realize this until they asked the president yesterday, are you going to release the full video? I had assumed that the media had seen the full video, but they haven't. And the Pentagon is ground zero for their attacks on the Trump administration. They're pushing hard to get rid of Pete Hegseth. It's not going to happen. Even if Trump is upset with someone, he's not going to let anyone in the cabinet go, at least not until after the midterms. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to give them that victory. Not that anything's wrong with Hegseth. Hegseth is fine, and he's doing a great job, and we all love him, and he's doing a great job. But I don't know why they have in their mind that this is going to lead to him being removed from office. I don't understand. You know, it's because they're in that Trump derangement syndrome bubble, so they don't have anybody in their orbit that's seeing things rational. Also, I want to mention we have a new sponsor that just joined us today, our accountant, and that's Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. He called in earlier in the show. The entire tax code has changed because of the big, beautiful bill. You want to call Jamie Levac from Swift Tax. I'm going to give you his number. This is his direct number. I'm going to give you in a moment. If you are receiving Social Security, call him. There are major changes in the tax code for those of you receiving Social Security. Those of you that receive Social Security and work, you want to call too. But no matter who you are, you want to call him. Everybody needs an accountant. You want to, this was the biggest tax cut in history. President Trump gave tax cuts to people that never get tax cuts. There are people out there that may not have needed an accountant in the past. You need one now. And no matter where you're located in the United States, Jamie Levac from Swift Tax can help you. He comes highly recommended. He's very, very good. You heard him when he called earlier in the show. He's offering concierge service, meaning that he's going to sit down one-on-one with you. You want to call now before the end of the year, before the holidays get here, so you can get everything you need in a row before the end of the year so you can take advantage of all these big, beautiful bill tax cuts. His number, again, this is his direct line, so if you get his voicemail, leave your name and number, and Jamie Levac from Swift Tax will call you back. 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You think we should get...
No, yes, I do. See what I told you? This is the, people think that Halloween's the with the zombies and everything. It's every December. I remember once, and this was a crazy thing. This was in the month of December years ago, and this was Steve's idea. I'm not suggesting this, and now that I'm mentioning it, Steve may want to do it again. We went the month without taking calls, the entire month without taking calls. And I remember when Steve announced that, I'm like, I don't know, Steve. Those were some of our best shows. But we did, because the month of December is the month of weirdos. Every single year, it's that way. Out of the whole year, it's the way it is. Plus all this winning that's going on with Trump on top of it. Well, listen, don't forget, tomorrow is Open MAGA Mike Friday. It's open phones every Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. And if you're watching me online, don't go anywhere, because I'm going to just got some breaking news. I'm going to continue after we sign off. This is meaning that the show prep is up to you guys on Friday. Okay, Friday's show is open phones. The show prep is up to you all. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Take care. I just got a breaking news headline. Listen to this. In the Hill, FBI makes arrest in January 6 pipe bomb incident at DNC GOP headquarters. Oh, my goodness. Let me see what we got here. It just came across my notifications from the Hill. Let's see if they have it. It's not even on the... let's see here. All right. Let me pull the story up. The Hill, the FBI has made an arrest in its nearly 5-year-old investigation. This is good for a number of reasons. First of all, Kash Patel promised this just like a week or two ago, right? The FBI has made an arrest in its nearly 5-year-old investigation into who placed pipe bombs outside the offices of the Democratic and Republican National Committees the evening before January 6th. The arrest marks the first action in the case in years, as police have been unable to identify the suspect, whose face was largely shielded in video footage that showed them laying the bombs near the party's headquarters. This is in the Hill, by the way. The FBI did not share any additional information about the suspects. This is developing. Let me see if we got... the Gateway Pundit was saying that they thought they knew who it was, and I didn't report it because we needed some confirmation. No, there is nothing on the Gateway Pundit. Let me look on X. Let me see if there's anything on X. Benny Johnson, FBI arrests suspect, but no details. These are just old pictures from the incident. Now we'll find out if the Gateway Pundit, they went way out on a limb and identified a suspect a couple of weeks ago. I didn't report it. In fact, I didn't see any other news source report on that. Benny Johnson mentioned it and did a thing on it, but there wasn't enough information because they were identifying someone. We'll find out. The person that they suspected of it was a female, but we're going to find out soon. They're not going to be able to keep this a secret. If you're new to the program, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. This is an amazing story because if it's when they identify the person, when they announce who the pipe bomber is, that's going to change everything, right? Depending on who they are. If it's just some regular leftist lunatic, that's one thing, and it'll be a big whoever it is, it'll be a big story. But if they're identified as someone who is connected, that's a whole nother thing. And I'm surprised that they announced the arrest without giving us any information. Let me take a look and see. Let me look one more time here on X. Yeah, this is a big one. And let me tell you, this could be redemption for Cash and Bongino, right? I mean, if Cash and Bongino have been working on this entire year that they've been running the FBI, that will redeem them. And this is maybe one of the most important arrests made, even bigger than Comey in his indictment, depending on who they are and if they're connected. If it's just a regular Antifa lunatic, it's still a big story. But if it's somebody connected to the deep state or the feds, then that's a whole nother thing. But we don't know yet. But let me look. All we've got is they've arrested somebody. Let me see if they're saying who. No, nobody is no one is. No, they have not identified them. They're going to have the FBI will have a briefing this afternoon after the arrest of a man in Virginia who they believe is the pipe bomber. Somebody just posted on X. But this is just a regular person who wrote this. This is not a media outlet. Let's see here. Okay. Here's let me see here. Details are scarce. They say they're going to have a press conference this afternoon. So I'm assuming we're going to get the identity. They'll probably be, but this one poster said male. But we don't know. This was not a news outlet. This was just somebody with an X account that said male. Let me see. There's a repeat of the same thing. The FBI arrested a Virginia man suspected of plotting the bombs. So there's two people that have said a Virginia man. Okay, then we've got a Fox News correspondent, David Spunt, who I've never heard of. He is reporting the FBI has arrested the suspect believed to be behind the planting of pipe bombs at the DNC and RNC headquarters. The suspect is a male living in Virginia who was arrested this morning in Virginia. So now we have a Fox News correspondent. Here, I'll pull that up on the screen. Hold on. I don't know who this guy is. Okay. this up. Okay, yeah, that's it right there. I don't know who this is. That's the tweet. But that's two that have said a male. So I can find another one. Here's another report. FBI arrests suspected January 6 pipe bomber. Federal authorities have arrested a Virginia man. But basically, they're all copying and pasting what the one guy, the Fox News correspondent, said. Well, hopefully we'll find out before the afternoon. But we don't have any other information. But, you know, the Gateway Pundit had identified a woman. So, and again, I didn't go with that story because I didn't think there was enough information to do that. But the main thing is, you know, anytime you hear Virginia, you think somebody connected, right? Because, you know, the whole bureaucracy and all of those people, they all live in Virginia. So anyone who's in Virginia is automatically viewed as, that did something like this, viewed as somebody who's probably connected. And just because, when they announce who it is later, and I imagine this is going to leak out anytime. If you're just joining, it's being reported that the FBI arrested a Virginia man as the pipe bomber. They have not said who it is, and we don't have official conversation that it's a man and it was in Virginia. But we do know for sure. The one thing we know for sure is they have arrested a suspect who they believe to be the pipe bomber. We don't have an official a confirmation on their gender or where they are. But if it's somebody in Virginia, that sets off alarm bells, doesn't it, to you guys? If it's somebody from Seattle, you think, oh, well, you know, Antifa. But anyone who does something like this from Virginia, don't you assume there's someone connected? So we'll find out. But when they announce who it is, if it looks like a normal lunatic, don't be so sure right away that that's the truth. We'll have to give some time for the person to be, you know, for people to let us know, was this just a person? Right? Or is it somebody that's connected? We'll find out. Oh, this is someday. All right, guys, make sure you subscribe. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching.